Unmute microphone. That is something to where I wanted to do anyway. Oh, good holy moly. Let's see what it says. I'm sorry, folks. I gotta get everything set up here. It's 6:59. I'm making sure that like I have everything set up, and I apologize because like I've been dawdling. So I totally apologize for that. Let's see here. Yes, I'm known the doobie doos from the mid 1990s. Alrighty. And here we go. Get back to the right screen here. Hey everybody, it's Lance Lush. It's the LTL General Chat for July the 28th, 2017. Now, Lush fans, this is one of those situations that I dropped my mouse on the floor. This was one of the more impromptu Lush talk that I normally do, and I totally apologize for that. And nobody's on here right now, and I'm thankful for that. This is something to where, you know what? I gotta get some people in. So give me a few minutes here. Okay. I just got... Oh, good flipping holy moly. This is something to where hold on a second. Let me make a message. I had to make a message to Kenton Beer Reviews just to see if he's around. So hopefully he'll see this. Now, this is one of those ones where the topics tonight is going to be a little odd. Like one of those ones where it's like from Pace Magazine. And I don't normally use them from often. I had to put them on there in the link below on the YouTube chat page. But on Pace Magazine, so I get back to that page, and I'm looking for it now. Like all of a sudden, I can't. Oh, there we go. It says in recent years, the tone of the story has been largely revolved around the brewery acquisitions. Both AB InBev and Miller Coors made the acquisition of larger regional craft breweries a priority. After AB InBev purchased Chicago-based Goose Island, the Domino Cascade in 2011, they since acquired the likes of Wicked Weed, Four Peaks Brewing, which is in Phoenix, Fort Devil's Backbone Brewing, Eliza Brewing Company, and Golden Road, among others. Miller Coors owns Terrapin Brewing Company, St. Archer Brewing Company, and Revolver Brewing Company, and is not even including the crafty brands brewed by both corporations, such as Brew Moon and Shock Top, which are carefully calculated put forth with artificial veneer of craft and hide the product's true source. Indeed, it's never been hard to find. Hard than it is right now to pick up a beer on the shelf at a package store and know whatever is not coming from an independent brewery, which was certainly part of the rationale in mind when the Colorado, based Brewers Association, the craft beer industry's not-for-profit trade organization, unveiled its independent craft beer scene. Okay, here's the deal. If you know where to look, you can find it, but it's going to take some legwork. All right. I know craft people that will swear off the majors. What these articles are talking about. That's exactly what they're talking about. So it's one of those ones to where you know what they're up to. But the flip side is, do you really know? But the brewery's acquisition are only tip of the iceberg because AB InBev's goal has evolved. With the U.S. market and share of Budweiser and Bud Light declining to decline, and AB InBev posting its first decline in core earnings since 2004, this March, it goes on to destroy craft. Rather, these savvy corporations want to cop out every potential profitable aspect of the industry and control the conversation with the term craft beer constituents. Because of word, not just sales, but the ideas of marketing language. This comes back to the old saying of, if you can't beat them, buy them out. That's exactly what it is. In the next paragraph, it says, they're not just purchasing brewers, they're purchasing the way influence as well. It says Dr. Bart Watson, chief economist of previously mentioned Brewers Association. That appears to be a continuous strategy to part, because when the lines are blurred, there's a tremendous advantage. The different ways between the small independent breweries that were created. AB is working to erode. Okay. This comes back to my main politics page. AB InBev knows good and damn well that people don't research. They know this. Now, a little bit differently from a headline and an article, they look to where what the headline says in a general article, and they take it either as fact or they don't research. It's either one or the two. It is always one of the two. And trust me when I say this, that is bad, bad, bad news. Now, Lush fans, give me a couple moments. I got to check something real quick. I had to get into the general chat. There we go. So it's one of those ones where right now there is 2 people watching. I don't know what the other person is, so thank you for watching. As far as that, I'm pretty sure it's Craig, but it's like I want to make sure. I got to do something real quick here. So bear with me. I can't remember last names now. What the hell? Hold on. There we go. I had to send a shout real fast. So I totally apologize on that one. So one of those ones where AB InBev, they're large enough. They know exactly what in the hell they're doing. They really, really, really do. But on the flip side, they're going down the dangerous road. At the end of the day, it's just like the internet, and I totally believe this. The masses will turn on you in a hurry, and they're never, ever, ever coming back. I truly, truly, truly believe that. So keep that in mind. Rod J Beer Reviews, he even said that, like, I mean, he's basically stuffing his face right now. He might join later on, and that's okay, because I've always been a slow moving show, and at least in the live chat. Now, I don't want to get in situations where, you know what? Excuse me. Us narcoleptics do that from time to time. I get on to the next topic, and I just hit the wrong button, so bear with me. Groups, my ass, need to save. Okay, Brooklyn Brewery. Now, I don't know how true this is. More breaking news this morning, following from the heels of Short's minorly share acquisition by Lagunitas, announcement. Brooklyn Brewery has announced via its blog, a joint partnership agreement with San Lorenzo, California's 21st Amendment Brewery and Frontworks out of Fort Collins, Colorado, acquiring a minority interest in both companies. The three-way partnership was crafted to create a shared platform for national shares and distribution, which takes effect January the 1st. Okay, this is kind of old news. I kind of knew about it. I wanted to talk about it. When a partnership like that forms, it always ends in bad news. And let me tell you why. Self-interest. Too much self-interest. And Lush fans, I just noticed behind me the no parking any sign is backwards. I don't have a damn clue why. So if you start commenting on why that happened, you know why. Because I just don't know. Now, I don't know from a distribution standpoint, is it going to work? I really, really, really don't. If I knew the answer, I would tell you. I really would. But from a distribution standpoint, at the end of the day, there's very few places that has a gentleman's agreement. That really does. Where a handshake, that all that matters. That has gone the way to Dodo and full service gas. It really, really, really has. So I don't really, happen in January, knows how long that is going to work. That's neither here or there. Now, you're probably wondering what I've had today. Now, what I had here, like in the last hour or so, was the Victory Hot Devil. Now, I'm not having that right now. I'm just having a Natty Light because, like, I just want to coast right now and have a general chat. Now, what I had before that is the Magic Hat Bob's First Ale. It's an Irish Red. And I will say this. It's, it's there. But it's one of those ones to where you're not going out and look for it. That makes sense. And like right now, I'm going on Facebook right now just to see who's out there. And I hit return. I get absolutely nothing, Lush fans. Absolutely nothing. And I gotta be approved by the admin. Really? Flipping really? Close this. So what say you? Kent Beer Reviews already said he's gonna chime in. I haven't seen him yet. Rod J of Rod J Beer Reviews. He's stuffing his face, so I know he'll be here he'll probably be here momentarily. Louisiana Beer Reviews, Ronald Thoreau. I don't know if he's going to show tonight because I don't know if there's a Rangers game tonight or even a Devil Rays game tonight. So I have no idea if he's going to show. This is one of those oddball Friday nights to where, yeah, I posted I'm gonna do a chat early, but it's one of those ones where you know what? I don't know who is going to show. So here's what I'm going to do. Yours truly, Lance the Lush, is going to go potty right now. Going to go outright potty. Before I do, let me do something real fast. Aha. We have a chat. Let's see here. Average Joe from Buffalo is chiming in right now. I might join in a bit too if I'm welcome. Average Joe, you are always welcome to my chat, all right? You know, you bring something that this conversation doesn't have, and that is a third party. And I totally understand that, respect that, and I love that. The sign isn't backwards for viewers, Lance. It's probably just showing up mirrored for you. Looks fine for me. Okay. Like, I'm looking on the YouTube page. It is one of those ones where I can see it right now. My no park any time sign, my Google page sign. It's one of those ones to where, you know what? It's totally backwards. Maybe it's just me, all right? So, Average Joe and the people who's watching right now, and I apologize for the YouTube chat. I did not totally check that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go potty. Now, Average Joe 716 is in the house. Now, he's a hockey guy. I'm assuming he is. And he's part of the season that never ends. But I'm going to step away for 5-6 minutes. Now, Joe, do not talk hockey, right? Because it's still in the middle of summer. But I am giving you the floor. So log in. You'll see it directly above your very first post. And just carry the show till I get right back. And I will be right back. All right, we back? All right, we are back. Now, this is one of the ones where, like, I'm running solo by myself tonight. Wow. Well, Average Joe is here. So I can't say I'm totally by myself. So this is one of those situations where This is a very specific Q&A. So, ask the Lush, what do you know? What do you want to know about me? This is one of those situations where, like, nobody's around. And I'm actually shocked. Now, I'll be the first person to admit, when I first scheduled the show, I honestly thought it was going to the at Blossom Music at Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls. I honestly thought that I was going to the Rod Stewart concert tonight. Reason why is, like, I was not going to see Rod Stewart. Please understand that. I was going to go see Cyndi Lauper. Miss Cynthia is my first crush. She really, really is. Really is, excuse me. I know I'm slurring my words and I apologize. But it's one of those ones to where, you know what? I've seen her a few times in the past. I want to see her again. She just was on one heck of a show. So this show was never supposed to happen. Well, okay, let me back that up. I had it scheduled, but it was kind of wishy-washy what I wanted to do. Now, hold on one second here. Okay, nobody's around on the YouTube side. So I apologize for that. I had to check really, really, really fast. But it's one of those ones where, chime in. You know, average Joe, you're out there right now. Talking to yourself sucks. It really, really, really does. And what I'll do is, hold on one second here. I had to do a couple things first. I apologize. Hangouts. I had to post to a couple Google Plus pages. I had to think about that for a second. I totally apologize. So it's one of those ones to where, you know what? I'm just flying solo right now. Now, what was I talking about? Not Pace Magazine. Detroit Free Press. Okay, I talked about that. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm going to Detroit Free Press. But people close to the craft beer business tend to resent the idea of publicly traded corporate microbreweries controlling the craft beer. Many are concerned that they'll prize like profit or quality, hoard hops and order resources, and undersell traditional craft brewers. Money spent on local craft beer feeds more than the local economy. Think mom and pop stores versus Walmart. Okay. I'm trying to say this in the best way. The micro brews will always be the micro brews. The nano breweries, now I'm talking about the true mom and pops, the one-man operations, they're not going anywhere. They serve a need in their neighborhoods. I don't give a damn where you live, all right? That's just the bottom line. The bottom line. Now, once you start to scale up into other operations, I understand what the article is saying. I don't get a situation where, okay, I enjoy the macro. I really, really do from time to time, depending where I'm at and what I'm doing. Like the local bar I go to, I can throw down a Miller or a Hams with the best of them. I can, but I love my crafts. I really, really, really do. However, I understand where this article is coming from. They have serious concern with the industry. The craft industry itself. It really, really, really does. And we have Kent Beer Reviews joining in right now. Welcome.
Hello, mate. You're right. How's it all going? Sorry about that. I was just spun off a couple of reviews. I've only got review beers at the moment, so.
No, I totally understand. Now, what are you reviewing right now?
Well, I've just done 2 reviews from the same brewery. They're out of Sweden. Popples. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Actually, I have not. You got to fill us in on that.
Yeah, they're out of. Let me have a look on another page. I'll butcher it up anyway. So they're out of Västra Gotlands. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Popples Braggery. If you type it in on Untapped, it'll give you a list of stuff.
Okay.
They've been on Untapped since the 30th of November 2012. So.
Oh, they've been on for a while now then.
About 5 years, yeah.
Okay, good. And the man from Buffalo, Average Joe, is online. Welcome. And his microphone's muted right now.
Enough to say.
Yes, hello.
Okay,
hello.
Oh, you're there now.
Yeah, what's going on, boys?
Oh, a whole lot enough. I'm just rambling until somebody showed up.
I like to ramble as well.
Oh, yeah, so do I. Sometimes in vlogs normally.
When you're pissed, as you call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what else are you sampling tonight there, Craig?
Well, this is the pale ale I'm drinking first, and then it's the same brewery, and it's their IPA.
Okay, you showed that one already. What's the other one?
That is the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the label wrong. That's my fault.
Yeah, so I've started off with this one, and then I'm going on to that.
Oh, okay.
We'll see where we go. Same brewery. Couple of shortish reviews, and then we'll see where we go.
Okay, so what?
So how's?
I think. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was wondering what you're drinking.
Now, right now, I'm drinking. Unfortunately, I'm drinking a natural ice. I'm trying to slow down just a smidge, excuse me. Now, what I had earlier in the chat I had with Joe D, I had a Victory Hop Devil. I haven't had it in a while, so I decided to have it. Now, before that, I had a Magic Hat Bob's First Ale. It's one of those lazy weekends. So it's one of those ones where, you know what? I don't want to try something new. I want something that I already had, even though there's a review incoming on Sunday.
Yeah, that's cool. What about you, Joe?
I'm drinking Prairie Artisan Ales. They're Phantasmagoria, which is a double IPA. It's
nice.
8%, I think 70 IBUs. Of course, they're too good for me because they don't put any kind of ingredients, don't know the hops or anything. They're just like, we use citrusy and piney hops at the end of the boil, and we dry hop it with. We're not going to tell you. I'm like, all right, it's pretty good though. With
American hops or whatever. Yeah. That's vague.
Yeah, they're
You might taste. We might tell you. Yeah, sorry.
Citrus and tropical. It's like, that's a lot of hops. It's a lot of different hops. I don't.
Yeah, so it's not like they're standard like farmhouse ale. Then like you're just drinking something different tonight.
Yeah, I like Prairie quite a bit. We get them here in New York now, or we have for a couple of years. I like their Prairie Bomb series. I do a lot of different variants. Yeah, those are really good. This is, I think, maybe the second IPA of any sort or any like really hop forward beer I've had from them, and it's good. The problem I have is it came in a 12-ounce can, so what is that, a 355, Greg, or 341? I can't do maths right now.
I guess it's 355. I guess.
So, and it was almost $5 American. The issue I have with that is all the pounder cans now, or not the pounder, the tall boys, the 16-ounce, the 473s that everyone gets, the stickered cans, and all the big breweries, the crazy hype breweries are using. Those cost usually $4 to $5. So I'm getting 4 ounces less, and It's not like this special New England style or any kind of space. It's just a double IPA. So it's kind of shitty paying almost $5 for a single can of a 12-ounce beer that isn't anything really special. It's good, but it's not worth $5 a 12-ounce can.
I haven't heard of them.
I totally understand.
I haven't heard of them doing IPAs much. It's more the Imperial Stouts and Farmhouse Ales kind of.
Mm-hmm. They're big into the farmhouse, the sours, the bomb series. They do a lot of Imperial Stouts where they did a pecan one where it was, I think, pecans and like vanilla, and they did a coconut one. Yeah, they're well known for their Imperial Stouts. And that was weird because it was the first time I ever saw it in a can.
I take it you've had the coconut one.
I have not, actually, because when it shows up here, it sells out because it's crazy. Prairie, listen, we all know when it comes to price and craft beer, it's expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
For a lot. I mean, a Prairie 12-ounce bottle shows up and it's an Imperial Stout, and I get it. It's, 12, 13%. A lot of times they're using crazy ingredients or they're barrel aged, but it's tough to drop down anywhere between $10 to $15 for a single 12-ounce bottle of beer. I don't care how great it is. It's difficult. But people around here, they don't have too much issue doing such things because a lot of Prairie stuff flies right out the door like the special releases. You don't get to the bottle shop within 2 or 3 hours. It's usually gone.
No, it's more supply demand there in Western New York. You got to fill us in on that.
Well, in Western New York, it's weird here because New York State, when people think of New York, what do you think of? You think of New York City, right? I mean, that's what people think of. People don't think of Albany and upstate and Buffalo. You really don't think too much. It's usually centered on, New York City. But in Western New York, we get a much different supply of beer than you get in New York City. For example, Great Lakes Brewery, which you're familiar with, Lance, for the longest time, they only distributed to Western New York, to the Buffalo region of New York State. Nowhere else in that you couldn't get Great Lakes Brewery in New York City. You couldn't get it in Albany. Western New York was the only thing because of our proximity to Cleveland and being on Lake Erie. But here, the thing is that for a long time, we didn't have really good breweries here. Like we're way behind almost everyone when it comes to the bigger cities in America.
Really?
As far as breweries go. As far as distribution of beers, we get some fucking awesome beer from all over. And because we lacked for so long the good breweries locally, people would head to the bottle shops to get that awesome beer. So the supply and demand, not much supply, a lot of demand. So we get a lot of awesome beers that show up. But the problem is a lot of these bottle shops are open like a normal business, right? So you're saying some of these open up at 9 a.m., some will open up at 11. And when they get their truck. It's an hour or two from the truck showing up to them putting on the shelves. So a lot of people who work 9 to 5, they get shut out of beers because they can't get to the bottle shop quick enough.
Now I have a question about that since you're in Western New York. Now, because like I have relatives in New York City, right? Mm-hmm. But like Erie County, I'm talking about Buffalo itself. Mm-hmm. Like in Western New York, is that big of an issue? They commute to Syracuse or Pittsburgh or Myra? Is it one of those situations they had to travel for it?
No, you can get it all in Western New York. There's probably at least a half dozen bottle shops within a half an hour, say, traveling distance by car that there's a lot of awesome beer available. The problem is, like I said, a lot of these the issue with nowadays with craft beer is there's a lot of really good breweries, but they spread themselves too thin. So what they'll do is like one place will get a single case of beer of like something everyone wants. The next place will get a case. The next place might be 2. So you might have 6 cases of this awesome beer spread out over a 30-mile radius. Well, 6 cases of beer is not a lot of beer for people who want beer. So if you don't show up early enough and you maybe take a lunch break or get out of work early, a lot of people get shut out. So what a lot of bottle shops are doing now is they're kind of holding, like they'll sell like half of their stock and then they'll hold the other half for the people that get out after 5, or they'll do it on a Saturday where people have off. And it's the way to go about it. For so long, like if a beer came out and you worked 9 to 5, too bad for you.
SOL.
Yeah, you're shit out of luck. Sorry. And that's kind of effed up, honestly, because, hey, I'm a guy that works every single shift, actually. My schedule is really weird. I usually do 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 2 off, and it always changes the shift. So I usually can get some stuff here and there, but for someone who works strictly 9 to 5 through Monday through Friday, unless they can get a lunch break or take a break and travel to a bottle shop, too bad for them unless they have, someone who's going to go get it for them. And I don't know. The good thing is, though, there's so much awesome beer now, even with the great releases. You don't have to worry too much because, you go to the bottle shop every week, there's, 10, 20 new beers. And, it's awesome. It's awesome to be a craft beer lover now because there's so much great stuff available.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Everyone has a, everybody has a shot to try everything basically now, just because there's so much being produced and not everyone can afford everything. If I went to a local bottle shop every week with the mindset of I'm going to buy everything new came in, I'd be broke. In fact, I wouldn't be able to buy it all. You'd be spending hundreds of dollars every week on beer.
You wouldn't be able to drink it all either. That's the thing.
No, you wouldn't at all. I mean, you could try, and that'd be a challenge for some.
You wouldn't do it for very long, though, would you?
No, you wouldn't. You'd be effed up.
No, like someone like me tried everything this came out on a consistent basis. I couldn't hang. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm no spring chicken anymore. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and when you get older too, I think for a lot of us, you don't drink to get shit faced. You don't drink to get hammered. You drink mostly for the flavor, enjoyment level. That's a byproduct of drinking, and a lot of times you will get drunk or you will get buzzed. But it's not like I don't go in and like I'm gonna drink 6 beers tonight because I want to get fucking crazy hammered. Yeah. No, I want to taste the beer. I want to enjoy it and share it with friends and hang out like we are right now and just talk. That's kind of the enjoyment level for me.
That's it. I mean, what happened to me last week was I just had 2 or 3 high ABV beers, and that was it. Done. Yeah. And then it got to that time, I was like, I've got to go out. And then it's like, there you go.
And then you get a pissed vlog out of it, right?
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Cleaned it.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I do want to bring up, though, to talk about, I'm sitting here and it sounds like I'm complaining about price, and maybe I am, but I'm not really, because I understand it's, you talk about supply and demand. There's a lot of demand for a great beer, and the supply is limited, but a lot of people that are in craft beer do have money, or they have the means to buy it. So the supply and demand, I never get too angry over price points because I understand there's people willing to buy that, and that's market value. If you're going to sell a beer like this Prairie for $5, a 12-ounce can, it's going to sell out. So why wouldn't they sell it for that? For me, I've tried it once. I'm glad I tried it. Never buy it again. Why? It's a good beer, not worth $5 for me. But there's other people that maybe it is worth it for them, and they will pay that. So many people get caught up about like a lot of these new breweries, with the 4-packs of the tall boys, going anywhere from $16 to say $24 a 4-pack, and you can turn your nose at it and go, oh my God, I would never pay $24 a 4-pack. Well, for every one of you, there's probably another guy out there that would gladly pay that and does pay that and has no issue with it. So if the brewery can sell it at that price point, then more power to them. And on top of that, they're going to continue to do it because as much as they're an awesome craft brewery, they're also a business, and that's how it works.
Some people.
Go ahead.
No, some people buy like six 4-packs, and they got crates, and then they're allowed like 2 or 3 crates. It's like, how much is that worth? Unless they're trading or buying it for other people or whatever. I have no idea, but that's a lot of money.
I'm a little bit different as far as that because, like far as that particular crowd, they're going to spend the money. I totally understand that. The flip side is, if I'm going to let's use 24. Let's do the high end, like Joe said, $24 for a 4-pack, right? It's like you're talking $6 for a beer. Mm-hmm. At $6 to $8, I'm thinking Crowler.
Yeah,
out of a brew pub. That's my mindset.
Or a 750 of like something, a 750 milliliter bottle, some kind of like bomber bottle that you're like, something where it's like 22 ounces, 25 ounces, not a single 12 or 16 ounce can. That's
my whole thing. Is like, if I start getting that price range, number one, I have to be curious to get it. This is me. Number two, it can't be anything out there nobody's tried before, at least as far as online. Number three, it has to be something to where that is so unusual or so special, I got to go out and seek it. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's my 3 criteria, something like that, and starting getting that price range. That's why I never reviewed I can't even name that brewer clown shoes. Clown shoes. I never reviewed it because that reason. Because hell, here in Ohio is $16. I couldn't justify it.
Yeah, and that's that's a great thing though. Like it is one thing I've noticed about craft beer in general is there's a lot of people like any other hobby that like to complain, whether it's about price point, whether it's about availability, whether it's about whatever. People like to complain because they like to complain, right? It's the great thing about it is for every beer like that you specifically won't buy, Lance, there's something you will, because there's something for everybody. You can pass up the clown shoes, but it's not going to ruin your fun because there's, you know, literally hundreds of other breweries that you could choose from and pay less, and it's more in your wheelhouse when it comes to price point, maybe more of your wheelhouse when it comes to style and what you're willing to pay. People get so upset nowadays about availability, about so many, oh, you know, when's the bubble gonna burst? Oh, why is there so much available? I've never seen people complain about so many awesome beers being out. Like, oh my God, it's too much. The choice is too hard. That's awesome. That means you can go into a store and select beers based on your preference for style, your preference for price point, and just what you want to buy and try. I'd never see, like 5 years ago in craft beer, people couldn't get enough because there wasn't enough being released. Every week was a new beer, maybe 5 new beers at the most. Now every week there's 10 to 20 new beers and people can't keep up and they get upset. And it's like nothing to be upset about. We're living in like the prime time for craft beer. Be happy about it.
No, I totally understand. I was like, maybe because I'm a little bit more old school than a lot of people. Is the fact that when I get to a certain price point, there's a mental block. I mean, is it worth the hype? If that makes sense.
Yeah, baby. I mean, it's got to this point now, even in the UK, where every week there's breweries chugging out new beers and stuff, and it's like you just can't keep up with it all. It's just too much. You just can't do it. I mean, they're probably great beers as well, but it's just, and you can see people online on Instagram that all chasing, like beer chasing almost. You got to get them all. It's like one of them Pokemon Go kind of chases, you know, with beer. And it's like, it was all right for a while. You could keep up with it but now it's just gone. You just can't do it.
No, I understand that.
Well, I feel, I don't want to say I feel sad because that sounds bad, but like I sympathize a little bit with the people who do have the OCD and who for a long time, their whole goal was to try everything new that showed up in their area because it's impossible now, basically. So I do sympathize with them, but maybe it's good for them too, because I don't think it's healthy to have infatuation with trying every beer, because now there's hundreds of thousands of beers in this world, and it's not happening. It's just not happening. Even locally, you can't try everything. I mean, one of my buddies, Chad, the Albino Rhino beer review, little plug for his channel. Yeah. But he was the same way for a long time. He would say, and it was doable five years ago when he first started, or I guess it would be 6 or 7 years ago at this point when he first started on BeerTube. He could get everything locally because there wasn't a lot in his local LCBO, which is their basically their liquor store, and they also have a place called the Beer Store, which sells only beer. But he could try everything because there weren't new things showing up even every week, so he could go to his local places, pick up 3, 4, 5 beers, reviewing over the course of the week, and then breweries started opening up by the shit ton locally. And now he's like, I want to try everything. I'm going to go to every brewery. And then it got to the point where there's 10 breweries, 15 breweries within an hour of your house. You can't try everything every week. And he would try so valiantly, but also he would, oh man, this place is releasing a beer. If anyone's in the area, can you pick it up for me? And he would do that a lot. But then he finally realized, like, it's an impossible endeavor. It's not happening. It's
totally understandable.
It's like I have to cut bait, and now I just have to review stuff that I can get easily locally and stuff that I want to try, not that I need to try, because there's nothing anyone needs to try. It's an alcoholic beverage. I hate when people are like, I need this beer. You really don't, because there's thousands of other beers out there. You don't need any beer.
No, I'm the same ways. Like, I want to try everything that logically I can drink. The flip side is there's so much of it out there. It's like there's no way in the world I can try everything. So I got to pick and choose what I want, Yep. And that's why, like, I see a lot of reviewers putting stuff out there every single day. Me, I'm the exact opposite. I got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
So it's one of those ones where I gotta sit down and say, I'm gonna do this, and this every single week. Yeah, it might take me 20, 25 years to try everything, but it's one of the ones to where, like, you know what? I'm gonna pace myself, trying to kill myself.
It doesn't matter anyway. Not really. It's beer. Enjoy what you do try. That's the way I look at it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, it's just the way. I mean, I've got a few bottle shops locally to me, or fairly local. A lot of the stuff that I like to try that, or new releases and that you have to. There's a lot of kind of online stuff that you can just get now, bottle shops and whatever companies online where you just I'll have this, and this, and this, and they'll send it to you. Which is a lot of way you get a lot of your specialty beers from around the UK, because not all the bottle shops locally stock it. So there's no other way of doing it.
Well, that's actually the same thing, in a lot of states in the U.S. too. Some don't allow a beer delivery, but like right now, if I wanted to, I could order from a half dozen different bottle shops from out west and get all kinds of crazy West Coast stuff that I can't see here. But I have ordered stuff online in the past, 3-4 years ago, when the availability of stuff here was, not as great as it is now. But now there's so much stuff available that that's not even a thought to me anymore. Like I'm out of the loop most of the time with new beers, because there's so many being released all over the world. Yeah. And when you even specifically just talk about North America, and then even more specifically the States, it's like I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm lost. And it's a good thing, because I don't need to know what every fucking cool beer is coming out. Like, I would drive myself crazy if I had to be in the loop all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally understand that. I completely, totally do. And it's like, I just know what to do. Like, let's see here. Ronald Thoreau is joining us tonight. Welcome.
Yeah, I was having trouble. Remember, I was telling you I needed a direct invite. So Lance kept saying, here's the link, here's the link. I was like, the link won't work. I have to have an invite. So, because that's what I have to do with some of the people that do my hangouts. I have to, where it says invite people, the little man person on the hangout. I have to send them the link or they can't join. I've had that problem over the years. They'll say, I can't do the link, it won't work. But anyway, we just did a bourbon hangout.
Any good?
Yeah, we did Old Granddad Bonded.
Oh, Granddad? I haven't had that in a while.
Bonded.
I haven't had the Bonded. I'll be first to admit that. I never had that particular one.
100 proof. Get ready. And then here.
And what happened there? Okay, Jay got dropped all of a sudden. I don't know what in the world happened there. Is anybody still around?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, it's like Jay was talking. It's like, I don't know what in the world happened there. Wow. Oh yeah, he's back, I think. Let's see. Okay, there he is.
I don't know what's wrong with my system. Hey, but I like how people say, like Joe was talking about, I have to have it. I have to have it. But they don't have to have it. They just want it. But don't you find that it's common in the beer world, not to mention regular life? People mix, they confuse their wants. What the hell? They confuse wants and needs, right?
That you or me?
That's William. He's calling me, but I'm going to tell him, no, I can't. I'm on a hangout. But don't you notice that they'll confuse wants and needs? Like they might want a new car, but they don't really need it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But in their mind, they'll say, I need a new car, but really they just want it. You need food, right? You need shelter. You need love so that you'll be mentally stable and not be an island unto yourself. You might if you're doing online business, if that's your job, you need a computer, right, to do your online work.
Yeah.
Because that's a secondary need, because you can't buy food without money unless people are just willing to give you food for the rest of your life, and that's not going to probably happen. So, and you might want to invite William Kepley if you want. He was looking to maybe join. He likes to talk about beer and stuff. So I'm letting you know, I was listening to y'all talk about these philosophical evaluations of the beer hobby.
Well, it's one of the ones where, like, what's your opinion on it? You've been in this way longer than I have. So, what's your opinion on it?
Well, let me tell you. Now, you see, Craig Samuels just got knocked off. There's an embedded, and you notice there's an embedded hangout problem lately. And then I'm going to tell you about what I think about it. But I noticed that it was funny because we did a hangout Wednesday night, and they had some trouble. And people were making fun of us. Y'all have all these technical problems, ha ha. And then I noticed that they had the same problems, the people that were making fun. I said, it's an endemic issue. It's not just Ronald the Riot. But back to the wants and needs. We want to drink beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's a hobby. We want to try all the different types. Do we have to do it? No.
With all the selection it's almost impossible now. You know, I jumped into this 2.5 years ago, and I noticed the difficulty with all the selection. You know, you, like I said, you've been along way longer than I have, so you know firsthand what I'm talking about.
Well, I only started it 21 years ago.
Only 21 years ago, huh?
Yeah, and so, you know, it's like, I remember back in that time, that was before social media really, so it was kind of a different time, maybe even in some respects a better time, but you didn't know, right? So you say, well, let me try this, let me try that, and you have no preconceived biases, so you just buying everything, you know, and trying it. And back in 1996, beer was so cheap. Even if it was craft beer, it was pretty cheap.
I totally agree. That's why when I got into craft beer back in '97. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so then you just trying different things, and it's fun. But then, like Average Joe was talking about, I hope he joins back, and I hope Craig joins back. Kent Beer Reviews. But there becomes a point where it starts to become sort of like a, what's the word? A neurosis, right? A neurotic behavior. Then you
that's what you're saying. Okay.
Then you say, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And then if you don't try it, and you see other people drinking, then you get depressed and whatever. And then, like Average Joe was talking about, this obsessive compulsive disorder, this OCD, where I'm gonna try every beer in the world. That's impossible. And then the situation is where when you have to have a beer, well, now you're getting into problem drinking, or as they call it, alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to have a beer to get through the day or to deal with any type of life problem, now we could say, well, now maybe you have some kind of a alcohol issue. You know, it's not a fun hobby anymore. Now it's like an addiction, whatever.
Well, everybody's different. Like with someone like me, for instance, like I drink a beer a day, at least one.
Yeah.
But my schedule is so weird, I can justify that. But the flip side is, like, the best way to describe for me, I'm an exhibitionist. I want to try everything at least once, even though I understand that's mathematically impossible. So I want to at least on the weekends try something new. I know it sounds really weird the way I'm describing it.
No,
but
it
I understand
doesn't
what
sound
you're
weird
saying.
at all. It doesn't sound weird at all, because what are you saying? Oh, and I like the natural ice that you drink. I don't like the new can design, this little weird thing when they took off the boomerangs. That's telling me they're getting ready to come out with a whole new can, because the can they got now ain't cutting it.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
It ain't working. But no, I like what the terminology you're using is good terminology. It's psychologically healthy terminology, because what did you just say? I want to do it.
Yeah, but I'm not like killing myself to go out and try something new every single day.
Right. You said
I know
I
I gotta
want to
pay
do
myself.
it. You said I want to do it. You didn't say I have to do it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Hey, you want me to give William a link?
Yeah, go give him a link.
Let me
The
see.
more the merrier.
Let's see if I can. Then we can get the other two guys back on. I feel funny. Maybe I chased them off, but I doubt that.
I think there's a connection problem tonight. It's like I have a pretty fast connection, but I think it's just drop in the connection. This is me personally.
Hey, it's been going around. It's like the flu. Anyway, these are men. These are grown men. Ronald the Riot, Louisiana Beer Reviews cannot chase them off. Hey, I'm not that important. Hey, I tell you what, talking about standby beers, Natural Ice is a really good standby beer, but I feel uncomfortable watching you drink it out that can. But
uncomfortable? Okay, I gotta ask why. Why do you feel uncomfortable?
It always bothers me to see people drink beer out of a can. I always like to see them pour it in a glass because that's what I do.
No, I usually pour it in a glass anyway. That's just me. But it's like I'm just sitting here, it's just me, be my ugly self, and I'm just being straight lazy.
Right. I say, well, I can't pour it in a glass. It's like I heard a story about Prince Charles of Great Britain. He excuse the railroad.
Yeah, I hear the train going by.
Kansas City Southern. There was a story from like maybe the 1960s. He was laying in bed reading a book. And his father, Prince Philip, hey, William.
Hey, William was that Florida? I'm assuming?
Oh, North Carolina.
North Carolina, I'm sorry. Welcome.
Hey, but Lance. So he's laying in bed reading a book. And his father, Prince Philip, this is why I don't like to see people drink out of a can. His father, Prince Philip, looked in the room and he sees Prince Charles laying in bed reading a book. He got furious about that. So he told one of his friends, he said, I saw my child, maybe he was 13 years old. I saw my child laying in bed reading a book. He said, if he wants to read a book, why doesn't he get out of the bed and sit in a chair and read the book? If he wants to go to sleep, why doesn't he lay in the bed and go to sleep? Why does he have to lay in the bed and read a book? It's just like bothered him, like he was like not following the proper behavior for reading a book. It just maybe doesn't really matter. It just I say maybe me and Prince Philip are similar in that respect.
No, totally understandable.
You mind if I go get a beer before I?
No. Go get a beer. Like I like to know what everybody's drinking. You know, I found another chat. You know, go get one. Now, William, what are you drinking right now?
Whoa. What is that, William? Start talking so we.
Eric Gatsett Black Lager.
Oh, that's what you've been talking about.
7.5% alcohol, 76 IBU.
Okay, fill us in. What is that?
It's a Schwarzbier style beer, something I have very limited experience with, but I do happen to like this.
Okay.
It has a very dark coffee, almost a charred flavor, but you still get the piney, citrusy hops, and then the bitterness on the back end rounds it out. For someone who drinks a lot of regular style lagers like myself, this is quite a departure, but I really do enjoy it.
Okay.
And,
sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
This is definitely not a guzzler. This is definitely a sipper.
This is not a guzzler. This puts hair on your chest.
Oh, nice.
But it's brewed by Genesee at their Rochester, New York facility. It's contract brewed for Narragansett. So I think they do a good job with it. And it was a spring release. They had some cans left over when I went to the beer store lately. And I picked up a couple cans. This is the last one that I have. So
what is the Genesee beer? Really? A Korean ale company coming out with that? Wow.
They brew most of Narragansett stuff.
Wow.
Hey, William, what's the ABV again?
76.
The alcohol by volume.
7.5.
7.5. Wow, that's really nice. I tell you what, those people in Rochester can do great work when they feel like it, but they don't always feel like it.
No, when I got home from work, the first thing I did was I got this out and started drinking it. Then I turned my computer on and happened to see Ronald had left me a link. I didn't know what this was for, but I just clicked on it and I wound up here. So that's the way things happen in the cyberspace, I guess. but I've just about finished it. But it's really nice. And being a lager rather than an ale, the mouthfeel on it is a little bit lighter, and it's actually pretty. The drinkability factor for the stats that it has is quite high. So it's different being a lager, which I drink a lot of lagers. So it's it's not a lawnmower beer, no, by no means. But the drinkability is higher than you would think it would be.
So it's based. So go ahead.
And it's H.P. Lovecraft, which is the occultic writer, the Call of Cthulhu, and all that. So they got that feeding into it.
Yeah. So it's basically one of those ones where I hate to cut you off, William, but it's one of the ones where it's a lager that's very drinkable, but it's not a West Coast style.
I wouldn't say
it's very drinkable.
I'll say it's drinkable. I wouldn't use the adjective very, but it is drinkable considering it's 76 IBUs and 7.5% alcohol. And being the style of a beer, it's dark, almost blackish, but when you hold it into light, it's a ruby red.
Okay, so very
light, and it looks like someone's drinking straight black coffee.
Okay, gotcha.
But for Schwartz beer, I had to look it up on Beer Advocate to see what the additions or because I hadn't had one before. But there's a grocery store I go to in Greensboro, Best Way Grocery. They have a wall of beer in their store, one of the best selections probably in the state of North Carolina. And I happened to see this, and I was very familiar with the Narragansett brand. I like their regular lager. I think it's one of the better AALs on the market. And I grabbed a few cans of this while it was still out because I knew being a seasonal release that this would be my one shot to get it for this year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And here's another one you may have not seen. Genesee Bach.
Really? Now, I have a question about that. I actually seen that floating around up here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, have you had that yet?
Yes, I bought a 12-pack and I have 2 left.
Okay, now, my question is this. How is it?
It's very good. It's one beer that seems to be generally liked by the craft and micro drinkers alike. I haven't seen any negative reviews. It seems to be a crossover beer that the regular guys like it, and then those who have more of a discriminating palate, they seem to like it too. It's very malty, a very malt forward presence, with a minimal but enough balancing for the back end of it. But I think it's very good. I think it's 5.2% alcohol, and but it's pretty filling with that malt forward. If you like a malty beer, this is one I think you would really like.
Now my question would be like, does it give that traditional cream ale taste?
No, this is a box style beer. It doesn't have, although most of the Genesee beers, as you will find, have a sort of a creamy mouthfeel because they have a good lacing, pretty nice head retention. So it is somewhat creamy, but the first thing you notice is that malt forwardness of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a Schwartz beer. It's a black beer. It's sort of like well, that one's so strong. I was gonna compare it to something else, but never mind that. Hey, look what I'm drinking.
What is that? I can't see that.
Milwaukee's Best Premium.
That's
Milwaukee's Best, or we call it up here in Ohio Milwaukee's Worst. You know.
Lance.
Hey, that's what they call it here. What you expect me to do?
He's calling it Milwaukee's Worst, but he's drinking natural ice. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, I have no space to talk. I understand that.
Hey, but you know what? I get this beer so cheap. It's like $15.98 for a 30-pack, and in Louisiana, that's low. I mean, some of you guys get 30 packs for $12.99, but that's not the case here.
At Walmart here in town, it is $5.88 for a 12-pack. If you bought 2 12-packs, you get $11.76 for a case. That's
about what it is here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let me calculate this. Let's see. $15.98 divided by. Let's see. That's 5 6-packs divided by 5. So that's $3.20 a 6-pack. Well, that's not bad.
Not bad at all for a Miller product.
Not bad. Y'all heard the news? Dixie Beer got bought by Tom Benson today.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it yesterday. It's like, I was going to wait to ask you about that because I didn't know you were going to be on or off the chat tonight.
Yeah.
Now, you in Louisiana, I talked to my relatives. They're excited. What is your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? What y'all know who Tom Benson is, huh?
Tom
Yeah, the owner of
Boogie.
the Saints.
Tom Boogie Benson. Yeah,
He boogied on the field. I think that's when Jim Moore was the coach. He did his boogie dance when they clinched a playoff berth or won a game or something. But
yeah, Tom Benson.
Colorful character.
Yeah, he grew up in a poor neighborhood, low income neighborhood. He sort of like the kid going, making it big. He got into the car business and he ended up building up an automobile empire, selling new cars. And there was a danger that the Saints would be moved from New Orleans in 1985 when the original owner decided to sell. He was very discouraged. So Tom Benson came in with a group of investors and he bought the team. He's owned it for 32 years. About, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, he bought the New Orleans Pelicans, the Hornets, but the Pelicans now. So now he's got this billion-dollar sports empire, and he decided to buy Dixie Beer, Dixie Brewing. He's the majority owner now. The current owners, the Bruno family, they still have a minority share, but Tom Benson's the money guy, you know. So he said he's going to build a new brewery in New Orleans. The original brewery was destroyed by Katrina, more or less. And so everybody's excited. He said he's going to bring out all kind of different craft beers. And he made a little video with the other owners, and they were drinking the beer. And he said, I need to stop drinking while I'm on air. I have to go back to work. He's 90 years old. I don't think he's got an answer for that. But they have a Schwartz beer. You see, they have a black beer called Black and Voodoo that's been on the market for going on 30 years. It's much lighter alcohol than what William's drinking. Dixie was the first company I ever knew of that came out with a white chocolate ale, and that was about 1988. So they were a very early player in the craft beer world with a white chocolate ale.
Yeah, it's going way, way, way back.
Yeah, people forget about way back then. They came out with Crimson Voodoo back in the early days, a red ale, a red. So they were a struggling company in the 1980s. They were a big-time company in the 70s, but sort of like with Schlitz, they did a series of missteps, and but they did experiment with craft beer back before craft beer was even a thing. So that's exciting around here, and we would like to see him build a brewery and create some jobs, because the brewery's been sitting there empty for 12 years, and you know, he says he's going to bring back the original Dixie recipe.
Now, they've been doing the same building or just built from scratch? Do you know?
Can't build in the same building. The building was seized by the state of Louisiana, and they turned it into part of this medical complex.
Okay.
The original brewery is gone.
Okay.
He's looking to build probably in New Orleans East, which is still part of the city. It's not a separate city. But New Orleans East is a huge area that's underdeveloped, and probably you can get the land cheaper out there. It's a kind of a swampy area that flooded almost 100% during the hurricane. But I go out to New Orleans East quite a bit. There's the largest urban national wildlife refuge in the United States in New Orleans East. The largest. But,
is Dixie now one of the Paul Enter brands?
It is associated with Paul Honor.
Yeah.
Now is it true? Now, I hate to cut you off, Jay, but it's like, is it still true as a true independent with the buyout?
Yes, because Tom Benson is independent.
Okay. I just want to make sure. That's what I was asking.
He's not under anybody's control. Even the Bruno family, they weren't the original owners. I don't know who the original owners were for Dixie, but it started in 1907. Back when I was a little kid 45 years ago, it was a huge brand in New Orleans. Everyone drank Dixie. Budweiser and all the big brands were secondary to Dixie. But you know how it goes. Through advertising and the power of macro, they started to decline. And plus, they did it to themselves with their own stupidity.
More mismanagement like the other brands.
yeah, like deciding to strip the floors in the brewery and do a wax job on all the tile. Good idea. But then letting all the fumes from the floor stripper and the wax go into the beer, and then all the beer tasted like chemicals. Well, that pretty much began the whole death knell for them, because people said, I'm not drinking this stuff. It tastes like floor polish. Well, yeah. And then they put out a batch that was green. They didn't age it right. So then it was a series of like incompetence. Now, by the time I started drinking it in 1996, well, it was fine. You know, it tasted fine. Then the standards for canning beer changed in 96. They changed the standards for canning beer. Dixie was so poor, they could not afford to change their equipment to adopt the new canning standards. So they stopped selling canned beer. Half their audience was lost, because, you know, there's some people that only drink canned beer. So overnight, half their sales disappeared. I went into that it's true, Lance. I went into that brewery a month before Katrina, exactly 1 month before Hurricane Katrina. And the guy was showing me around the brewery. He said, look, when a piece of equipment breaks here, we cannot order a part. He said, all this equipment is from 1907. He said, when this equipment breaks, the part has to be made.
That's never a good sign.
No, handmade, hand machine tool made. So it was, and the people were so poor that owned the brewery, they could not afford to do anything. And in fact, when it got flooded, they did not even have insurance on the building.
Wow. Wow.
True story. It was all in the paper today, you know, but I knew all that already. But
maybe with the Benson's takeover, we can have a Drew Brees IPA or something.
A New Orleans Saints beer.
Yeah.
New Orleans Pelicans beer. He won't have to pay. Hey, he won't have to pay for any rights, will he?
You know, like up here in Akron, it's like we had to suffer Bernie beer. I hope that doesn't happen. Even though Drew Brees beer should be better, but I just shudder when I think of that. I'm sorry.
He says, you know, Tom Benson's 90 years old, right? But he's got a lot of ideas in his head, like he surrounds himself. Maybe that's the case. He surrounds himself with people that come up with these ideas, you know, so they'll always say, let's try this, let's try that. And so I think the future of Dixie, which is a Louisiana institution, or was at one point, is bright. I know that Dixie was contract brewed in Europe for maybe the last 50 years. There was it might have been made in Ireland. Apparently in Europe, there was a little bit of a following for it, which is bizarre. It's a strange product, because I know a lot of people that are 60 years old and up, and they'll say, oh yeah, I know about that beer, you know. And then Jack's beer is even older. That company went belly up in 1974. I don't think that's coming back, because people say bad things about Jack's even now. It's legendary, but maybe in the wrong way. Like my father says, Jack's beer, oh, that stuff's terrible. Anytime you drank Jack's beer, you needed a bottle of paregoric and 2 aspirin.
Oh, jeez.
But I think he exaggerates, but that's what he claims.
Wow. It's like the local beers here, like way back when. Like I'm too young.
How old are you? 35? How old are you? 35?
I'm 37.
Oh, excuse me.
But like the old timers here, like Burkhart was a huge brewer here back in the way back. And they went under in the 60s. It's like they were bigger than Anheuser-Busch here in town. Same thing, you know. And like the recipe is out there, but no one wants to touch it out of respect.
I never even heard of it. Burkhart.
Oh yeah, it was a big name here locally. At one point, Akron, my understanding, was the 3rd largest brew town in the country. What? Now I don't know how true that is, but that's what people tell me.
Did you read that on the World Weekly News? Hey, but that could be true. I'm just kidding you. That could be true, you know. Remember that Weekly World News with Bat Boy and all that.
Oh, I've read those. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Kind of like the Onion before they had the Onion. Hey,
yeah.
Oh, can I bring up something else?
Yes, sir.
I was fascinated by some of the commentary on the Budweiser hangout we did Wednesday, and some people were. But I decided I was just going to disallow those comments, because if you make 2,000 comments and 1,999 of them are like negative on purpose for no good of for no other purpose, just to, what do they call it, trolling?
Mm-hmm.
Not doing it to engage, you're just doing it to attack. So we don't need that, like get lost, in other words. But Williams' response was good, because one guy was saying, oh, you bunch of yo-yos, you're just trying to brag on Budweiser. Well, first of all, that was actually not true. We had no intention to brag on Budweiser. We were just looking at it in a neutral sense. But yet there was so much hysteria about that brand that when 5 or 6 people get together and do a hangout and look at it in a neutral way, it's perceived as being championing and promoting the product.
I'm gonna go potty. I have something to say about that, but go ahead. But go ahead. Say what you're gonna say. He's like, I got something to say about that, but I'll be right back.
Okay. So, and then one of the guys, he was saying, oh, you're just, his premise was, oh, you're just making a video because 2 or 3 people have said negative things about Budweiser, and you're like fixated on that. And Williams said, 2 or 3 people. He said, do a Google search and type in Budweiser piss, and you'll get, what was it?
335,000 results in less than a second. It took a third of a second to produce 335,000. And there were other connections. I got one that was 1.8 million if you put like Budweiser tastes like piss, depending on how you do the words. But that was his argument was what he was talking about, being a straw man. That was his argument. The irony of it was that he was doing the very same thing he was criticizing others for. And I don't normally like to comment. It's your channel. I don't like to comment on, if it's, because there's people that have a personal vendetta against you, and I try to stay out of the middle of that. But the 1 to 2 people, that was so egregious that I felt like I just had to say something.
Now,
and
what did I walk in on?
No, like before you left, I said that their contention was that we were making the video intentionally to champion a brand, Budweiser beer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
And they were saying that there was no need to do that. Well, first of all, we weren't championing it. We were just looking at it. Just like if we would decide to look at McDonald's French fries or something, a commodity, a common product. And they said that you're fixed. William read the comments. They no longer exist. I just erased all that. I said, I'm not going to entertain this anymore. It's just too stupid, But their contention was there's only a handful of people that said Budweiser's piss water, and you're just trying to like make this big production out of it because of 2 or 3 people. And you're just making this straw man argument. But like William says, the irony of it is that they were actually making the straw man argument. And so he said, no, if you do a search for Budweiser tastes like urine, you'll get an incredible amount of hits or links in less than a second. So we weren't exaggerating, and we were just trying to say that we were trying to like put some perspective on it.
He never addressed that. He replied, but didn't address that. He said, I have no interest in, it's just your opinion. I have no interest in interacting with you about that. That is not opinion. That's fact. I stated no opinion. It was I said, do a Google search. And then I asked him if he would supply specific examples of straw man. He called it straw manning that we did Wednesday night.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It's like
it's the typical deflection. Those people will not address specific issues. It's fruitless to even engage them. No, it gets sort of frustrating.
Like my whole thing with Budweiser itself, with your examination, Jay, is one of those ones to where I have publicly stated my issues with them, and it's like I wanted to be part of that conversation, but I had to be at work that night, so I wasn't able to watch.
But right, but it's like William was saying, this was not the hangout was not about Anheuser-Busch's best practices, or as some people would say, worst practices. It was not about the history of the company, really. It wasn't about macro versus micro or any of those things. It was just simply examine this product for what it is, whether for good or ill. And even Dr. Dave said, I didn't want to come on because I hate Budweiser, and I didn't want to go in there and say a bunch of negative stuff. I said, you were free to do that. But he just didn't want to get on there, But we got the negative commentary, and like William said, even the negative commentary really wasn't really about Budweiser. It was about this perplexing or somewhat bizarre personal vendetta against me. And like William said, it was like almost like a cover to do the right. It wasn't really even about Budweiser, I don't think.
And then as usual, it sort of devolves then into something of a sexual nature, or the ad hominem personal attacks. That's usually what it always ends in. They can't win an argument. They won't even address the issues. And so it's the personal attack. The same template all the time. These people will not address specific issues. Very dismissive. If you state something as a fact, they say, well, I'm not interested. That's just your opinion. Well, the fact that I produced 335,000 hits for Budweiser Piss in less than 1 second, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. But they will not address the facts. It's living in your own little never fairyland world.
Right.
Like-minded people who think they're the king. They're sort of like they're a big fish in a small pond. That's the way they want to keep it that way.
Yes, I agree with that. And but those comments no longer exist, and they won't exist in the future. On the other hand, people can make new accounts and they can continue to do it. But if it's and then the counter argument will be, well, you don't want to talk the issue. That's absolutely untrue. I'll talk the issue all night long if it's about the issue. You want to get on the internet and talk about Donald Trump's policies, we'll do it all night. But if you want to talk about his hair is funny looking, that's not the issue. That's not the policy.
Well, after the hair, they'll move into other parts of the body. It won't take long before they'll really get to the gist of it. It always devolves into that. Disintegrates into that kind of stuff.
What troubles you about a bad rug is a different situation, but it's like hair in general, I totally agree with you, William. I totally agree with you.
I don't mind talking about any of these issues, and even politics. I don't mind talking politics all night. But people will focus on strange things, and that's also people on the right wing are guilty too. They'll say, oh, this guy, he makes strange gestures with his hands. How in the world is that related to any kind of real policy discussion? I don't care if people make. I remember I got into an argument with my grandmother, who she did pass away last year at 95 years old. But she was telling me, she said, I don't like that guy running for office. I said, well, why not? She said, oh, he talks with a high voice. I can't stand a man that talks with a high voice like a woman. I said, Mom, we called her Mama. I said, Mama, if you are basing your choice for president on the guy's octave range, this is a problem. But in her mind, she could not vote for a man that talked with an unusually high voice. That was her policy. That was her policy problem with him.
I don't know what to say. It's like, but like, we're not talking about politics on this show, so I'm trying to stay quiet.
I'm not bringing up politics to try to on the sly or.
No, you're not.
I'm not trying to surreptitiously bring in politics. I'm just using that as an example of like what William's saying of not addressing the issue at hand. And using, like I said, like he said, the straw man argument of, and this goes on all the time. Oh, your hair looks funny. What does that have to do with the discussion on the video? Like most beer reviews I watch, I don't even watch the review. I just listen to what the people are saying. And I don't care about their hair. I don't care about their personal appearance. But it's very common in politics, in beer reviewing, apparently, to these, like William said, ad hominem attacks. And like William said, and I talked about this in the past also, people that are fixated upon me, for instance, they have people that do beer reviews that I think I cannot stand the review. I can't stand it. It's terrible. Well, guess what? I just don't watch it. Well, I don't spend half my life worrying about it. I can assure you of that.
Well, like far as the beer reviewers, I think we all agree we see some bad ones out there. Now I'll be the first person to admit I've done some piss poor ones out there. I'll be the first person to admit that. But like I want to consider myself marginal.
I've done my
like, I see bad ones out there.
I like to watch Lance the Lush videos though, because there's something, you know, I've been watching your videos and commenting on them for what, about 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something quaint, or I don't know. That's not the right word. Unique or whatever. There's something compelling about them. So I'll watch them. Like it's like Jean-Pierre. I wish Jean-Pierre was on here tonight. You see a lot of beer reviewers, I'll fast forward to where they start talking about the beer because they'll go for 10 minutes in the, what do you call it, the setup part.
Yeah.
But I never watch it because it's too dull. But like when Jean-Pierre or you, for instance, Jean-Pierre's on there, I listen to the whole Jean-Pierre video. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I'll say, oh, Jean-Pierre, 12 minutes long. But I'll listen to the whole video. Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with like I'll use myself for example. We decided when we do a review, we give an explanation of what we're talking about. And from there, we said like, you know what, this is what we think, this is why, and we lay it out for you to a point like we let you make your own decision on what it is. That makes sense?
Yeah, it's kind of like what Jean-Pierre does. He'll say, oh, and he doesn't like dwell on things too much. He'll say, oh, I had a bad week. These people are getting on my nerves. It's really about to tick me off. But then he'll go on. He doesn't like go into it. He'll just go on. You know, everybody probably thinks that during the week, you know. But he'll say, all right. But anyway, oh, I got this video. I mean, I got this beer. He'll say, I got this beer at, he'll tell you where he got it. I got it at Greer's. And then he'll do a little bit of about a minute complaining about Greer's, how they're kind of a ripoff. Oh, all right. Then he'll say, this beer, let me tell you about this beer. And he'll talk about it. You know, he kind of breaks it down, even though he's like fooling with stuff, you know. He'll talk about the beer. All right, the beer. He'll say, it's pretty good. You know, it's pretty good. Oh, he'll say, my friend Ronald J. Terrio talked about this beer. Oh, then he'll go on. And then he brings like a personal aspect into it. It's interesting, like he'll say, my lady always bothers me. Why she always gets mad? She gets so mad that I do beer reviews. Like he'll say, she always says, what's wrong with you? Why you want to do these videos? And he'll bring that little personal aspect. Like in his mind, it's fun to do. He likes to do the hangouts, the videos. And then, but in her mind, she say, oh, that's crazy. Why you want to get on the internet and do beer hangouts and do beer reviews? That doesn't make any sense. So there's like that little conflict, but he'll like put it in a proper context, you know. And then he'll say, okay, well, anyway, he goes about the beer. He'll give a score. He usually gives a pretty fair score, like he's not too harsh. And then when he gives a score, like I'm going to give it an 84, and then he'll explain it, why, and then he goes off and I don't know. It's something about it. Like I said, I can't put my finger on, but it's compelling. Like your videos, I don't know what it is, but I watch them all, you know, and I'll just be playing them, checking other things, but there's a lot of the beer reviewers. I don't watch all that.
Well, like with me, it's like when I do a review, for instance, especially like when I give a score, I give an explanation why I gave it that score, which a lot of reviewers don't do. It's like I give, like, for instance, like the last one I did, I give a review, but here's this, and this why I did it. And I let you make your own decision at the end that I'm talking about. And a lot of reviewers don't do that.
I try to do it like if I make a score, and I try to be careful. Like I don't really reveal too much. You know, you watch my videos. I don't know if you watch my videos. You may not. I don't know. If you notice my videos, they're kind of a format, right?
Yeah.
But I try to be fair. Like I think it's better to defer to the beer. You know what I mean? Defer to the beer. Like I don't claim to have all the knowledge. And if I did claim to have it all, I'd be an idiot. I'm just a guy out here in Louisiana, and that makes me a target right there because it's kind of a poor state.
Oh, stop. Stop.
So, oh, well.
Well, I'm not questioning the state itself. I'm talking about a reviewer.
Well, let me tell you, Lance, this is a common criticism of the channel. They'll say, oh, you're stupid. You're from the South. This is a very, I mean, I delete them usually. They'll say, because it'll be a lot of expletives in there. Oh, you're from the South. Who are you to get on here and make a beer review? As though there's some sort of a regional qualification for making a review. But and then I, you know, but then I try to say, okay, but what I'm saying, I want to defer to the beer. I'm no expert. I make no claim to be an expert. And if you watch, I challenge anybody, and I'll send you money if you can show me I'm wrong. I've never made any claim to be an expert. I'm just saying, here I am tasting. You know, we taste. We can taste, right? You know, and I'm trying to be fair. So if I have a little conflict in my mind about if the beer most excellent or is it just excellent, you know, A or A minus, I tend to go up. I'll give it an A instead of an A minus because maybe I tasted something in the morning that threw me off a little bit. So like I'm saying, I want to defer to the beer. And then a criticism I get, and I'm not the only one, people will say, oh, you're always giving everything a B plus or an A minus. Everything's a B plus or an A minus. Well, you know what? Most beer on the market today is very good. So why should we get up there and have to tear things down? I mean, to me, that's a benefit. You can try 100 beers a month or every 2 months, and they're all very good or excellent. Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, you know, so what?
No, I totally understand what you're saying. It's like maybe because like I'm not a largest channel as you are, I don't get it as much.
Oh,
but it's one of those ones to where when I review a brew, I don't when I tear something down or build something up, like I said, I always give an explanation.
Right, right. I try to do the same thing, yeah.
It's like when I did a Rockdale review a couple of months ago, right? I mean, everybody knew that was coming.
I watched it.
I mean, like, if for those of you who's never watched it, you go back and watch it. But it's one of those ones where I knew going in it was bad. I got so many PMs as far as that. It's like I got totally flipping hammered on that one. I mean, it's like, you know what? It's bad. It's flipping bad. I tried too. Even though I knew going in it was going to be bad, I tried to keep an open mind, but you just can't duck it, you know?
No, that thing was horrible. How that, you know, I go to Walmart 9 days out of a week, okay? So I'm not a person that can deny that. I go to Walmart 9 days a week. I went there and got my hair cut yesterday. Now people can make fun of that, whatever, you know, all right. Oh, and by the way, Tempest cut my hair. Tempest cut my hair. And and just to say this to people out there in cyberspace. You really wish Tempest was cutting your hair. And I'm going to leave it at that. But if Tempest did a bad job, I'd still let her cut my hair. All right. But anyway, what was I saying? I got caught up in Tempest.
We're talking about the whole Walmart beer thing, but rock the
yeah. I'll start thinking about Tempest, and I got sidetracked. I might think about Tempest later tonight. But anyway, but what I'm trying to say is, I go to Walmart 9 days a week, and most of my experience, you know, it's common on the internet to say Walmart is terrible. That's where the people beat their children, and only the lowlifes go to Walmart and whatever. I go there, and my experience at Walmart is 99% positive. Really, I don't have a problem. It's 1 mile away, less than 1 mile away. I always park easily. It's open at 6 a.m. I can buy my groceries cheaper. But how Walmart could allow themselves to sell such a horrendous beer, that was the point I was trying to make. They should be ashamed, because this is horrible. I buy Walmart coffee, all right? Now, the Walmart coffee is really good. You know, the Great Value medium roast coffee. You can get this huge container for cheap. But that beer, what were they thinking? How could they allow that to come into their store, Lance?
I don't know. Like, when I lived in Phoenix, perfect example of that with the beer, they had Great Value vodka. So as a total lark, not being dead serious, on the total lark, I went in there one day, get something else, and I saw it and I bought it. Big mistake. Huge mistake. I was jacked up for a week after I drunk that. It's like with the beer, it's like with their Rockdale beer, it's like, what were they thinking, you know?
Well, let me say this to you, Lance. And I want to apologize once again for getting caught up in Tempest. But Walmart now, their store brand for liquor is called the Caliber.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I don't go to Walmart enough. I go there maybe once or twice a year, so I had no idea.
Yeah, it's called Caliber, and it's all made by the Founders Company. And if you do a research like I did, the Founders Company is an assumed name. The real name for the Founders Company is Sazerac. They make all the Walmart liquor, and that's got to be a huge account.
It's got to be because how massive Walmart is.
If you go to Walmart here, now in Louisiana, they're very liberal as far as allowing liquor. They have an entire wall full of Caliber rum, gin, Scotch whiskey, Canadian blended whiskey, American blended whiskey. What are the other things they sell? Rum, whatever those other. And they sell this stuff all day long. All day long they sell Caliber. But you look on the back of the label, it says the Founders Company, Louisville, Kentucky. Let me tell you, that's Sazerac. Imagine the money Sazerac is making supplying Walmart with this cut rate liquor. It's got to be incredible.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's on their license, you know. Even if they're making, let's say they're making 20 cents on a dollar, they're probably making a killing right now.
Their economies of scale and their volume is, like Williams said Wednesday night. See, I always remember everything anybody ever tells me, which to me is a benefit. But like Williams said Wednesday night, he said all the other macro beers would kill to have the sales that Budweiser has, even though Budweiser is down compared to 29 years ago. The volume is so incredible, you can't believe it.
Oh, yeah, it's like Anheuser-Busch itself, to change gears a little bit, they're so entrenched in so many bars, corner pubs, you know, places like that. You know, that they know that's guaranteed money. You know, because people's going to demand it, you know, even though the sales are slow. They know that going in.
The sales are slow relative to years past.
Yeah.
But you have to think about this. You look at all the beer sold in America on a daily basis. When you realize that about 51% of every beer sold is either a Budweiser or a Bud Light, it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's really weird. It's like every bar, pub, nightclub, no matter where you go, like at least up here, they have that and people order that. Exception, with the exception, the bar I go to locally, that's a Miller bar, which is the rare exception around here.
Right. Now,
so it's one of those rare situations.
And I have to be careful because when I say something like that, people say, oh, there he goes again. He's a shill. He's a shill for Anheuser-Busch. I'm not a shill for Anheuser-Busch. This is a fact. If I say, well, the top 3 networks are CBS, NBC, and ABC, I'm not shilling for those 3. And Fox is number 4. I'm saying this is the situation today. Well, of course, with cable, it's not as big as it used to be, and with satellite TV. But just to state a fact is not to, I mean, hey, what's the biggest gasoline company in America? Well, it's Shell. Oh, you're shilling for Shell. I'm not shilling for Shell. I never buy Shell gasoline. It's too expensive, but it's big.
Oh, yeah, it's like, and like, that's a perfect example of the networks. Like I tell people all the time, like back in 2000 and 2001, you had your Buds and your Millers. You know, Heineken was there, but not as big as it was now.
Yeah.
It was like back then, your number 1 craft brewer was Sam Adams. You know, they wasn't that big back then than what they are now, but the same thing, you know? And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, and I had people tell me, you just don't like craft beer. Here's a challenge, and I will send money. Look up every craft, but you better have a lot of time to earn this money. Look up every craft beer I've ever reviewed. Of course, that's a controversy because everybody doesn't consider the same thing craft beer, right? Look up every craft beer I've ever reviewed, and you can use the Brewers Association guidelines if you want, because I'm very confident in this. Look up on my channel every craft beer I've ever reviewed, and then calculate the average score, which is probably at least an A-, probably higher, and tell me that I don't like craft beer. Now you demonstrate. Don't say that's an opinion. You demonstrate it with facts, and then I'll send you money. But you're not gonna prove me wrong, because if you look at my reviews, my scores for craft beer are exceptionally high. Hold on, your audio went out. Lance, your audio just went dead. Demonstrate it with facts, and then I'll send you money. But you're not gonna prove me wrong, because if you look at my reviews, my scores for craft beer are exceptionally high. Hold on, your audio went out. Lance, your audio just went dead. Demonstrate it with facts, and then I'll send you money. But you're not gonna prove me wrong, because if you look at my reviews, my scores for craft beer are exceptionally high.
Hello?
Hold on, your audio went out.
Hello?
Hello?
The audio just went dead.
Okay, I'm back. Like, the audio's behind. I'm sorry, guys. Now, what were we talking about?
Demonstrate it with facts, and then I'll send you money. But you're not gonna prove me wrong, because if you look at my reviews, my scores for craft beer are exceptionally high. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, let me. I turned off my. I was. Lance, you hear me?
I'm here.
I was just when your audio went dead. I was doing the playback and I was reading some of the comments. Oh, they're commenting all right, old boy. They're commenting all right. All right.
Yeah, I haven't addressed those yet, but I'm getting there. Trust me.
I knew they wouldn't. I knew they wouldn't give this up. You want me to read some of them? They're pretty good.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, Lee Russell says, "Wow, you're taking Travis McGee's comments out of context at best, and worse, misrepresenting them." Well, Travis McGee is a internet alias, so he's not a real person. I'm using my real name, so I mean I'm sure anybody can get on there and make up a fake name and then be all the Incredible Hulk. He said they still exist. I saved them. Well, that's good. I'm sure there's dozens of people worldwide that really want to read those. In the basement, this is my friend in the basement, says, "You got to care about the bikini chicks behind me in the videos." Here he goes, playing the victim again. Who said I was a victim? Chris Peters and Jordan are the worst. Oh, yeah, Jordan and Chris Peters. Some reviewers repeat the same stuff over and over again. You know.
Now, hold on. In the basement, that statement, he's actually technically correct with that. I've watched reviewers do that. But like me, you, William, it's one of those ones where we try to give an explanation of what we're talking about. But I just totally I totally understand what he's talking about in that particular statement.
It's beer. It has a general common flavor. Of course, we're going to say the same thing again and again. What do you think we're going to talk about? Okay, now, Lee Russell says, "I love how this is just Jay using Lance as a platform to cry about his critics. What a drama whore."
Okay, no, Jay, Jay, hold on a second. I'm going to address this particular statement directly. Now, Mr. Russell, if that is your name, let me tell you something right now. Mr. Thoreau is not using me as a drama whore. You got that? Let's get that out the way right now. This is This is a general conversation. So if you really think that's happening, get off YouTube right now.
No,
sorry, go ahead.
No, he said I was a drama whore and I was using your platform to cry.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like, if he really thinks that, he needs to get off YouTube right now. Get off of it right now. If you don't really think that, challenge me directly.
That ain't gonna happen. All right. In the basement said, "Any chance of you passing out online tonight, Lance?" No, Lance will not pass out. Lee Russell said he won't. This is a good one. He won't need beer. William and Jay will put him to sleep eventually. And then in the basement, who is part of that cohort, he's a beta male, says, "Laugh out loud."
Okay, like what they're referring to is Jody's conversation from a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. Where like it was a rare Tuesday night I was off, and I'm narcoleptic, and I had this really great conversation. All of a sudden, I just pass out. That's what they're referring to. And that never happened because I'm never off on a Tuesday night. But I'm narcoleptic, so I can fall asleep at a drop of a hat. Now, tonight is a little bit different because I'm hosting the chat. There, I wasn't hosting it. So I'm not moderating it as I go along. So that's what we're referring to.
Right. Now, Travis McGee, whoever that is, not a real name, sort of like the Undertaker. "Thanks for directing me to this chat, Lee. I'll silently watch and take notes. Should be interesting." Now, it's good to take notes. I think it's important to take notes. Lee Russell says, "No worries. They're really misrepresenting you here earlier in the chat. They've just moved on to a cry fest for Jay now." Travis says, "Thanks, Lee. I'll watch the whole replay." No problem, sir. And then Lance, tech issues. "What's up, guys? First time stopping by," says Sean 7. Lee Russell says, "Sound like I've been told. Laugh out loud." Yeah. In the basement. Laugh out loud. Oh, well, you know, typical internet, whatever. But
yeah, the trolls are out tonight.
Yeah. What can you do? You can't worry about it.
I know. Well, you've been really quiet for the last half an hour. What's going on over there?
I'm just observing right now, but
Williams,
a lot of people. A lot of people
like, hold on. Williams like Henry Hill and Goodfellas. He's just listening.
Oh, just hanging back, wait for an opportunity. That's one of those things.
It seems like a lot of people's profession is they just like to peck on the computer keyboard. They don't have anything better to do than that. And if this is going to put people to sleep, why in the hell would they spend 1 minute of their valuable time to even invest in it?
I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that question.
But that keyboard courage really comes into play online. You know, you get an civil person with incivility plus a little bit of keyboard courage, and they can peck away. They can peck away and snipe and criticize, and you know that they have a wonderful life. They have a wonderful life. I envy them, actually, that they are so confident in their positions on every subject. There's no room for any doubt. I'm right and you're wrong. It's a charmed life, and I sort of wish I had that, but I probably will never reach that state of utopia.
Yeah, I think we all kind of wish we had that in our weird sort of ways. But like someone like me, I don't have that luxuries. Like, you want to know, ask me and engage me directly, and I'll tell you, you know? And a lot of people can't handle that, unfortunately.
I remember Wednesday night, they said, blah, 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 the typical routine, the alpha male and the beta male cohort. And they said, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you can literally join this chat right now if you'd like, if you feel strong. Oh, why would I ever do that? Well, I mean, you may as well. You've been monitoring it for 2 hours or an hour.
Yeah, get out behind the keyboard. Get your face on camera. Defend your position.
Like I used to do that all the time.
It's one of the keyboard peckers.
That's one thing. I do that in real life, not necessarily on here online. I don't get it that often. I'll straight call it or bluff, you know. And I'm going to do it. Let's see your face. Let's see what you got, you know. And I'll straight call you out. If you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, even Kamala, the Ugandan giant, would get in the ring and fight. He might wear a mask, but he'd fight.
Oh, wow. The wrestling reference. Wow.
Kamala, Junkyard Dog.
Well, I'm going Bill Watts territory down there. I see what's going on down there. Wow. Yes, I have wrestling knowledge. So you know, hey.
I mean, the Van Eriks, they might have had personal problems, but they wouldn't just get up there and talk trash. They'd get in the ring.
Yeah, it's more Dallas. But I don't understand what you're saying there, you know?
Right. I mean, even Andy Kaufman would get in the ring. He might get beat up. He might have got slapped by
Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler on David Letterman, but he was in the chair waiting to get slapped. He wasn't just going to talk garbage, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here. You're here. I'm here. I'm using my real name. We're not using, aliases. But,
Well, I'm technically using one that's Lance the Lush, but everybody knows it's Lance or Laurent or that guy. You know, it's like.
Everybody knows who you are, and we know how to find you, so you're not hot.
Yeah, I'm real easy. Like, you want to know, just ask me directly. I'll tell you. Now, Sean 7, he says, as far as the trolls go, guys, you die if you worry. You die if you don't. They waste time. You seem like engaging fellas that fellas shooting the shit. I'll sub.
Hey, thanks. Hey, you ever noticed how you spent your whole life worrying about stuff that you didn't care about? Oh, wait, you never did that. What year is it? 2017? So let's say 2027, 2037, 24. All right, so let's say it's 2037. We still on here doing chats. They're going to still be on there saying, oh, well, you do all these different things wrong. Well, who are you? Well, I don't have to justify myself to you. Well, you're still on here.
No, that's what they do is like, as a perfect example, like my 20th high school anniversary coming next year, right? Yeah. And it's one of those ones where I don't want to go because of the same situation. Not for the trolls. I don't deal with the brain damage. I really don't. The exact same thing, but but in a different category.
Well, these these high school reunions are interesting because it's like, here are people that had nothing to say to you for 20 years, but now they all want to meet up with you. Well, hell, where were you 20 years? You could have been talking to me for 20 years, but you want to hold an event and you're worrying that the attendance is going to be bad. It's kind of like friends you used to have that got involved in Amway. Now they all want to start calling you.
Well, that's the whole thing is like, I would say this directly to camera, like especially like high school reunions. They didn't give a damn about you then. Why should you give a damn about them now? Exact same thing. Exact same thing.
Right. They want to hang out with you now because they're trying to get you involved in Amway.
Yeah.
Just remind them how many times they dissed you when you were in senior class.
Oh,
the thing about it is, I went to school with some people the whole 12 years, elementary, junior high school. So after 12 years, I thought it was good riddance. I didn't want to see them again.
No.
Thank God I won't have to. You know, you go your direction, I'll go mine, and never the twain shall meet. You know, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a rant. I don't want to go down that road tonight. I'm sorry.
Don't feel bad, Lance. Don't feel bad, Lance. Look, I went to high school like all of us. I had friends that I knew in high school. I talked to them during, after, continuously after, and still today. I talk to them even now. Now it's been 31 years. Well, the way I look at it, those are the friends, right? The people you like talk to all the time. Not these people that all of a sudden show up with some kind of hidden agenda. Like either they're trying to sell Amway or they want to recruit you for Scientology, or they having an event and the attendance isn't good and all of a sudden they need you. Sorry, can't help you. I'm not here to build up your whatever project you're working on. I mean, because I was here all along. Where were you?
Exactly.
I've been here. Where are you? Where have you been? But anyway, well, we talked about a lot of interesting concepts. Let's see what the comments say. It's not going to change. Malt Mustang says, shout out to Andy Kaufman, the intergender champ. Drink Mustang malt liquor. I've never seen malt liquor.
We see malt liquor, not Mustang malt liquor.
Malt Mustang. Well, Lance, I know you have to work Wednesday night. It's a shame Lance has to work, because if Lance joined our hangouts, they would be even more lively.
Well, you had Hams coming up next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where, like, I work those bizarre schedules. So it's like the chats I want to join, I can't do it, you know?
The problem with Hams is just sort of like a under-the-radar beer. It doesn't draw out the trolls like Budweiser. You know, if you show Budweiser to somebody, it's like showing a crucifix to a vampire. It raises a lot of controversy. If you show Hams to people, they're sort of indifferent. So,
well,
it'll be all right.
What Hams is like, maybe because 10 years ago, living out in Phoenix is more of a regional thing. But, like, the old timers know what it is, but they not necessarily really had it. So it's one of those ones, like, now it's more mainstream because it's so cheap. So maybe it's what it is. Maybe it's just me. I have no idea. But, like, we kind of know, but we don't know.
You know, Budweiser is sort of like McDonald's. You say that word and it really sets people off. But Hams is sort of like Arby's. Most people,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Most people, they don't really care. You know, you ever heard of anybody getting angry about Arby's? I don't believe. So they're indifferent to it.
Hams is under the radar.
Right. Budweiser is like Colin Kaepernick. If you say that name, you're gonna start a big discussion. But if you say Hugh Millen, I never met a person in my life that got upset about Hugh Millen. They thought he was kind of a subpar quarterback. Or a Bubby Brister. Yeah, Hams is like Bubby.
Oh, God. Bubby Brister? Really?
Right. But Budweiser's like John Brady. If you say that, oh, well, now. Or Justin Bieber or Miley Cyrus. Now you're going to start a big controversy. Or Donald Trump, you know, in politics. You know, you got these flashpoint products that people can't be neutral about it. They get really angry, you know.
I hope these people that have aversion to facts never have to go through the court system, face a judge.
Oh, to be game over. You know that.
Judge, I don't need any facts. That's opinion.
No, they know it'd be game over. They look from a judge, even from a constable or a jury. They know it's game over. It's over for them.
No, I had people. We had a hangout. And that's another story about somebody that doesn't want to talk to me anymore. But we had a hangout, and the whole contention was that Jack Daniels was not a bourbon. And the whole argument was, well, it's not a bourbon because I don't think it is.
I remember that one.
That's not a fact. No, it is a bourbon according to the government protocol.
And that's the one thing. Like I remember that particular conversation. I wanted to join in that night, but I had to work. You gave the legal definition because I remember chiming in on your Facebook page about that. So I jumped in and out, but you broke it down, and I couldn't rebut that because you gave a legal definition, and you were absolutely right as far as that.
No, really, the only argument was the people saying, I don't like the definition. But that's irrelevant. Whether you like the definition or not, the definition is the law. And that's why these lawsuits don't win in court, because they'll go to court and say, oh, well, I got damaged because I found out that Blue Moon was owned by Coors, and I thought it was a craft beer, so I'm suing. And that always gets thrown out of court because the judge says you could have looked that up in 5 minutes and found that out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these small fries, I really don't care what they say. I won a court case against Ford Motor Company. Let them do that and then come back and talk to me.
Oh, that's right. William was one of the few people in America in 2017 won a lawsuit against Ford Motor Company.
Really?
Did it with facts. It was done with facts. Somebody just an average Joe like myself, living in a small town, beat Ford Motor Company.
And got a brand new car out of it.
Wow.
For not 1 cent. So let them chatter on. I could care less. I'm not confident in my positions.
He'll go drive the car.
Yeah. I'd like to have short, you know, if I could drive it to my house and show it on one of these hangouts. This is what I got. This is what facts will get you.
Not opinions.
This is what being professional will get you. I did a lot of legwork with that. Compiled a lot of statistics and stuff. I was well prepared.
Legwork, a lot of these people don't do that anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, and the lawyer, I had attorneys. He didn't present a, you know, like you said, you know, he presented all the possible scenarios could happen, but he didn't build me up that it might reach a verdict in my favor. But it did. He said, you got the very best possible outcome you could. This is the best you can do.
A brand new car with no money laid down.
Absolutely. I took my old one. We did an exchange of paperwork. I drove off in a brand new car.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Just by exercising the lemon law, which I'm entitled to do. That's all I did.
Oh, I see here Lee Russell. I'm not sure he's being honest, being the troll right now. I'm looking at the chat at the moment. It's like, I like your hangouts, Lance, but you shouldn't let guys like Jay come on and cry. Come on to cry, excuse me. He has his own channel to do that.
I'm not crying. You see me crying?
It's like, okay. Mr. Russell, if that is your name.
It is his name.
I'm probably the most open forum you're going to see in this format. If you're a beer reviewer or curious, you're welcome to join. I mean, I don't deal with the trolls. I'll be the first one to admit that. However, I mean, state your case. And this is one of those situations to where is he doing that? Please let me know.
It's not going to happen because you got the link posted in the comments. So anybody can join, but it's not going to happen. So you can forget it. It's the same old story. It's people.
Lance, you're just collateral damage. You just happen to be in the crossfire of all these personal vendettas and personal drama that's developed over the years in the beer community, unfortunately.
Oh, so I'm on those bad situations where, like, when I jumped in doing this format, it's like I'm an intermediary. Intermediary, I can't even say it. Or it's one of those ones to where you're like, I'm just in the way.
Right, just like that a gang warfare shootout, and you were just buying some apples and oranges, and you got caught in the crossfire.
Oh, snap.
Wow. And I think that's why some people get disillusioned with this whole beer scene and everything because of all this stuff that goes on. You know, after a while, it doesn't become fun anymore. You know, something that you like beer. These other people like beer. You know, we all have something, a share something in common. But as you find out, it gets broken down. A lot of the divisiveness, and it just isn't fun anymore for many people. And I can see their positions really after my limited experience.
You know what?
Yeah, the funny thing is like the contention is that none of this matters. But my counterpoint would be, so why are you watching it? You know, why do you worry about things that don't matter? I don't, but
like as far as the beer reviews, like a lot of the consumers in air quotations, they're curious, right? You have that crowd. You'll always have that crowd. You have your diehards that watch the reviews. You always have that. You have the people like us. You know, like we do it for the love and the passion, and we can care 2 cents what people think. And the diehards, it's like we take what we say as fact and gospel. That's the spread. You know, I hate to say that, but that's what it is. I learned to come to grips with that as doing it as a reviewer or the last 3 years. It might be different, you guys. You guys been doing it longer, but it's just me.
Well, no. Well, I don't take what I say as gospel. It's just somebody who's not important giving his opinion about beer. Now, but the fascinating thing, and I was talking to William about this, is that people think I'm important, but I'm not. So you're making somebody who's a nobody really, but you're making him out to be somebody, but he's not anybody. So it's like it's odd or unusual that you're fixated upon a person who's not fixated upon himself. You know what I mean? It's like who in the world is Louisiana Beer Reviews? Louisiana Beer Reviews is not anybody.
Okay.
You got to make all these fake internet accounts and be the most. You got to be a modern knight errant. You're like a brave person because you made a fake account and you can criticize some obscure person in Louisiana. I don't understand that. But I mean, I might be missing the point. They got, like I said earlier in your hangout, they have people that do beer reviews. I can't stand to watch them because and I don't want to get into why, because they have a lot of poor quality generally. Well, I don't worry about it 29 hours a day. I just don't watch them. But there's something compelling, and there's something compelling about Louisiana Beer Reviews that I don't even understand the compulsion. And I host a channel.
Okay. Well, William, hold on a second. I can understand. Okay, I can explain why people allure to your channel. And Ronald walks away.
No, I'm here. I'm just updating my calendar. Go ahead.
Okay. When I jumped into the review game, I found you by accident. I'll be the first person to admit that. However, when I watch your channel, you're real. And that gets a lot of mileage from a lot of people. It really, really does. Now, I watch your channel personally because I love the nuts and bolts of a review. I've always loved that. I don't care who's doing it. But you do it in such simple terms to where everybody understands. And that's very, very, very hard to do in a review standpoint, especially this particular review standpoint, because we're talking beer. We can't, as a reviewer, we can't get overly excited about a beer or overly sad about a beer. And I've been on both sides of that. And we everybody's watching this either now or down the road understands, as far as a review standpoint, we understand that standpoint.
Hey, look.
So,
Look around this room. You see, there's beer. There's a bunch of National Geographic magazines with beer bottles and cans on the shelf. Over here is comic books on the wall. I'm sure people have seen that a million times.
oh yeah, I see those same stuff on the left of the picture. You know,
There's some comic books in boxes, and about 1,000 newspaper color photos and black and white photos from various football games over the last 35 years, taped to the wall with adhesive tape, invisible tape, or the regular type. Now, I don't know why that would be fascinating to somebody, why they would want to fixate on that. Somebody that eats at a Chinese restaurant occasionally, but apparently there's something that is just, it's just beyond people's comprehension. They're just fascinated with it.
now, hold on a second.
They
Like,
came to my house.
I'm a lifelong Saints fan, but I enjoy Tulane. You know, like Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana Rowe, like things like that. Like, and Drunken One. Thank you for joining in. Welcome.
Oh, Lance, let me interrupt real fast. I'm about to get off of this.
Thank you.
I would like to sit on here for the next 9 hours and talk about the history of troll. But Drunken One, I want to say this to you. I know you were trying to join Budweiser the other night, and I feel bad because I would have let you in a hot second, but I was sort of confused a little bit.
Oh, that's all good. No problem. No problem. Yeah, it looked like y'all were pretty busy, and that was a pretty wild conversation y'all had going.
I felt bad though, and if you want to join us for hams next Wednesday, I'm gonna make sure I send you the invite. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So you do kind of like Rod does in the sense that only certain people can get in through a private invite. Is that what you got going?
No. I'm not.
I'm
actually not that way. I actually let anybody join.
Okay.
Join at any time. But the problem was I had no way, because you told me you weren't on social media really, so I had no way to send you. I had really no adequate way to send you a link. You see? So, but now I think we have that straight. So I can send you a direct, like I was trying to tell Lance earlier tonight. I can send you a direct invite.
Oh, nice.
But like
special.
I know you're somewhat connected to people in my little group. So if you get into a situation where there's some kind of connectivity problem, just tell them, send me the link, and we'll be connected. I know you're on Google Plus. You have to be, because you wouldn't be in this hangout. So you do have that social media connection. So I think we'll be able to correct that.
Yeah, I don't know how half of this stuff works, so I do good to get into these things. So, the Google Plus is kind of, I guess, sort of like the Facebook thing, sort of, kind of. I don't know. I'm ignorant to it, and really I have no interest in learning the Facebook thing. I don't want to be poked or pinched or prodded or what do you call it, tagged or whatever. My girl knows all that crap. I got no interest in it.
I think Google Plus is sort of like a Facebook mimic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It didn't really catch on like they were hoping. There's a few more comments, but they're not really worth talking about. It's just the same old humdrum worrying about people that ain't worth worrying about.
Right.
He says it's about him, guys. It really ain't about me. I'm not nobody. All right. Well, Lance, and I want you to know this, Drunken One. I'm not getting off of here because you're coming on. I'm getting off of here because I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. And
I don't totally understand that.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's okay. I know how you roll, Ryan.
You should have been on here 2 hours ago. All right.
I know, right? I was in my truck. I was still trying to make it home, and I had to get a shower. Oh my gosh, it's been really hot here today.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my Jesus, yeah.
Madness. Hey, Lance, thanks for inviting me. And
no problem.
William, I always like talking to you, of course. And we're going to do that early times hangout soon enough. Early times whiskey. Like William always says, that's drinking the history more than drinking the product.
As long as if it's on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, let me know. I'll join that one. That's for damn sure.
And it looks like it might be on a Friday, so you might have to put Lance the Luscious hangout back a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Unless we incorporate early times inside of Lance the Luscious hangout.
What?
Oh.
Say it's not so.
Oh, let me know. Like I'll put a big event around that.
That's a double feature.
Big chat.
Yeah, it is. Right? I'm in.
That's a double bill.
Why not? Correct. Why not embed it? Why not embed it within Lance the Lush hangout?
There's an idea, but like I know it's down the road, so I understand that. But it's one of those ones where we never know.
And that's twice the content for the trolls to see.
We'll be talking about, and even you know, to be fair to the trolls, because this has got to be and I'm serious now. It's got to be fascinating to watch this because they're dedicated, and you got to admire dedication. They can even go out and buy early times and join us on air, but I mean, I don't think they would, but they could. They could. Like Lance says, it's open. You can do it. Like in the movie Goodfellas, you know, let him come if you're feeling strong, you know. So join the fun.
This is a democracy after all.
More or less. All right.
For the internet.
For the internet. All right. Later, folks.
All right, Mr. Burrow. Oh, yes. We are back. It's Lance the Lush, and it's the LTL General Chat, and Drunken One is joining us a little bit longer in the chat. Welcome.
I think he's on the phone right now, I believe.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he's taking a phone call.
Well, Lance, do you live in Akron?
Yes, I do.
You didn't go to the high school that LeBron James did you?
No. St. Vincent St. Mary is down the street from my apartment.
Yeah.
Now, I went to Akron Garfield, which is way larger. Way larger. So, two very different schools. That's a parochial school. I went to a public school.
I was thinking he went more almost. Yeah, it was on a smaller. We have those in North Carolina where they have a lot, like Oak Hill Academy, that a lot of athletes go to these schools. They're high school and they're public schools, but sort of in quotation marks. You know, it's.
Oh yeah, like LeBron went to a high school that had when he graduated in senior year had 1,200 maybe. When I graduated at Garfield, we had 3,500. Big difference. Yeah. Huge difference.
There's a guy in Cleveland who has a YouTube channel of motorcycles, and he's got a whole lot of subscribers. 650 Ebe. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not.
No, I don't. I don't do the motorcycle scene because of the Star Boys down here in Akron. I don't do the motorcycle scene.
These are, but they do smackdowns on the highways, and those guys get up to over 180 miles an hour on public roads. They'll line up two guys, and another guy will wave them off. He'll drop his arm, and they'll go blasting off down the road. But,
just like the Star Boys, you know, it's like up there in Cleveland. Because
these are based in Cleveland. That may be the name of the.
Okay, understand something, William. Cleveland and Akron is two extremely different worlds. Even though we're 30 miles apart, we're two extremely different worlds. They want to do it up there, that's fine. Down here, they're going to do that. You hit the freeway, we're doing a brake check. You're going to find out real fast what we're talking about.
But I like motorcycles, and that's the reason I've watched his videos sometimes, and he's very knowledgeable. But the fact that they can get away with that stuff sometimes, sort of, I'm scratching my head because, I haven't had that type of luck myself.
No, totally understandable. Totally understandable.
But yeah, I was in. I took a road trip to Ohio last year in the fall. I'd never seen the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, you went to Canton, down the street from me,
And I had never seen the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, that's north of me, but now, did you enjoy it? I
did. It was my first time ever in Ohio. And one thing I liked was the beer prices. A lot of 24-ounce cans of beers that I couldn't get here for 99 cents. So I had a trunk load full of beer, and I came back down to North Carolina with.
Now, my question would be, you hit a lot of the smaller spots, or you just start hitting gas stations and start buying stuff?
Combination. I went to a few supermarkets, gas stations. I went to one beer store. It was very near the campus of Ohio State University in Columbus.
Okay.
And they had stuff that we did. They had hams, which at the time wasn't available in North Carolina, but now we have since gotten it since they widened their distribution. And I was also in Columbus. I went to a Giant Eagle, and I bought a 12-pack of Carling Black Label beer.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of the very old adjunct lager brands, which used to be brewed in Cleveland. The Peerless Motor Company converted to brewery during the Depression years when things were tight in the business world, and they brewed Carling Black Label, which was a top 10 beer in the 50s, along with Budweiser, Schlitz, and all these other iconic legacy brands. And I picked up I hadn't seen that beer in 30 years. But I happened to see it there, and I said so I grabbed it, and so it's fun to find things that you're not anticipating to find, even though it was nothing special. It's just an adjunct lager, but still, it was something I was glad I was able to try again. And I drank it last year in the fall when the Indians were playing in the World Series.
Oh, okay.
I had both beers. I had old style beer to represent Chicago, and I had the Carling Black Label to represent the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty fun to drink those two while those two teams were battling it out in the World Series.
Okay, like here in Northeast Ohio, it's a very weird situation as far as beer, because there's so many different styles just in the 50-mile circle. The best to describe it is the West Cleveland style, the East Cleveland style, the Akron style, the Canton style, the South of Canton style. There's so many different styles here in the area. It's kind of hard to get a grasp unless you live here for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, just traveling through, you don't really know unless you have a really good guide.
Yeah, the guy in the beer store, and it was called 14-0 Stop. It was very near the campus of Ohio State. He was very knowledgeable, and he was pointing out the craft beers, because you're right. As a outsider, you go into a town you're not familiar with, you see all these beers, you sort of get the deer in the headlights look. You don't know really what to get of all these local craft beers. But he pointed him in the direction of some very good stuff. It's good to, these stores that have someone there who's really on top of the situation. And some of the beers I got were really very good. And I enjoyed that. Going up through Virginia, West Virginia, the trip actually didn't take as long as I was anticipating it to do. But I was in Ohio sort of before I realized it. I just crossed over the Ohio River, and I said, well, I'm in Ohio now, so I'm getting closer to my destination. So, but I enjoyed it.
Okay, good. Good. This is one of the ones where, especially, I know you're in North Carolina, but you have to, honestly, spend, at least in my area, you have to spend 3-4 days, especially I'm not saying from a beer standpoint. You have to immerse what goes on around here, because our beers here for the Sans Great Lakes, our beers here tell a story on what's going on. And we do bleed into West Virginia, Western Virginia. Our beers down here don't really get into North Carolina unless it's Great Lakes.
Yeah.
So we're very regional here, but we're very, very, very passionate what we have.
Yeah, North Carolina has one of the more vibrant craft beer scenes too. laws are pretty favorable as far as the craft brewers, and a lot of the bigger craft companies have found this a very hospitable state to relocate in. And
Why is that?
In Western North Carolina, we have a Sierra Nevada brewery. We have New Belgium and Oscar Blues, all within probably a 20, 30-mile radius of each other.
Now, I have a question here in Western North Carolina. You're more to like the mountain.
I'm in the middle of the state. I'm in the central Piedmont area, Greensboro, Winston-Salem. If you
you're close to like Vansboro. You're like Vansboro, places like that then.
If you cut the state in half, I'm right in the middle of it, pretty much so.
Okay, I relatively in Vansboro, so I was asking. That's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the metropolitan area of High Point, Greensboro, Winston-Salem is pretty large if you combine the three cities. They're so close together.
They definitely
comprise a pretty large metropolitan area. Then you go about 150 miles to the west, you get into Asheville, which is in the western North Carolina. That's where the breweries located. The Sierra Nevada, New Belgium, and Oscar Blues are all in the western North Carolina.
Oh, so you're like Mount Airy, Asheville, places like that. You're in the
Mount Airy is
area.
north toward Virginia.
Oh,
Asheville,
okay, gotcha.
West
Okay.
on I-40 toward Tennessee.
Okay.
But I read an article about, they were talking about and they said it already paid for itself logistically by having a brewery here in North Carolina, because the logistics of shipping the beer in the eastern part of the country is much easier. So they were very happy with the results of it. And that's good to hear, because it brings jobs to the state.
Oh, okay.
And then we have our craft breweries more locally, right in this area, like in Greensboro. We have Natty Green, Foothills Brewery, Red Oak. Some of these have won awards. Foothills Pilsner won an award last year at the Great American Beer Festival.
Now, I have a question. So you're in that Piedmont areas. Now, since you're in that Greensboro area, like, is the craft brew scene not just like growing in like Greensboro? Is it starting to like creep north towards like Virginia Beach?
It's growing in the Raleigh area. I'm not as familiar farther close to the beach, but Raleigh has a pretty vibrant scene also.
Okay.
But I think I read an article where the laws as far as craft breweries were more favorable in North Carolina as about any other southern state. So it's a nice place to set up shop and try to get started out. And it's also a state that's, we have the mountains to the west, we have the beach to the east.
Okay.
We have a pretty moderate climate. So it's been a very good place for these larger craft breweries they want to open up their second brewery to be represented on the eastern part of the country. So that's the reason that they picked North Carolina to come here.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, even with relatives I'm talking to you down there's like, they're even like in the mountains, like in Asheville, like in the west part of the state.
Yeah.
Or they want to locate on the Crystal Coast. But it's like, why are you on the Outer Banks? That's way too far away.
A minute ago, you mentioned Mount Airy, which was the fictional town Mayberry in the Andy Griffith
correct.
Show. He was born in Mount Airy, and basically now, because a lot of factories and industrial stuff has left the area, they're pretty much a tourist town.
Well, like
the revenue comes from tourism. They have
I was gonna say, like, a lot of the puff mills left there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna say.
But so they rely heavily on tourism, and it's a nice little quaint little town, but that is, and in that show they would mention towns in North Carolina and we're going to they called it Mount Pilot, which is
Pilot Mountain is a big attraction, at least for me, us Northerners. That's a big attraction. Yeah. Like coming down south, going that direction. Pilot Mountain's a huge attraction.
Yeah,
for some strange reason.
And when Barney left the show he left when he was written out a script, because he got a movie deal and he didn't think the show was going to last but 5 years. So when he saw a movie deal come his way, he took that. The way they wrote him out of the show was he took a job in Raleigh as a detective.
Yeah.
And so that's how he's written. And that's like a real North Carolina city. And they would mention on the show when they got the two fun girls, and they would pick a town that had beer, and they called Barney Bernie. They said, "Bernie, let's go to so and so because they sell beer," and she would giggle.
Yeah.
All of that was sort of a lot of North Carolina histories in the Andy Griffith Show.
Well, how are we getting this topic? Wow.
Yeah.
Did I bring that one up? Oh man. And I have too many relatives in North Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm a Louisiana kid, so go figure.
Yeah.
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go potty. Drunken One is back, I think. Drunken One, are you back?
His avatar is there, but he's not actually here right now.
I saw him get off the phone. I thought he was there.
Yeah, he was back briefly, so it's maybe just.
Oh, I see what he's doing. Okay, I'm gonna go potty. Can I go potty? I'll be right back. William, you have the floor.
Yeah, I will speak a little bit about the beer I had tonight. For those who haven't seen it, the Narragansett Lovecraft Black Lager, Schwarzbier style, 76 IBU, 7.5% alcohol by volume. You get some of the characteristics, the mouthfeel of a lager, yet you get the citrus piney hops, and the strong coffee, black coffee flavor, mild to a lesser degree, some chocolate, almost a charred flavor. And I found this very interesting for someone like myself who drinks a lot of the regular adjunct lager style beers. This was a nice diversion to have one of these.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, me too. So what happened? I had to take a phone call, and like everybody left.
I was here, but I was describing my beer.
You were chilling on a Lovecraft. I'd never even seen that kind of beer.
This is a Narragansett brand.
All right.
7.5% alcohol, 76 IBU. So it's a pretty strong beer. But sounds like stats, it's got a pretty high drinkability factor also. I've enjoyed it.
Okay. It's got a cool looking can. That probably would have catch my attention enough to pick one up.
If you can find one, it's a seasonal beer. You may still be able to find some that's been laying on the shelf, but they're probably pretty much exhausted till next year. But I like it. You know, for someone like myself who drinks a lot of these adjunct style lagers, the Ham, the Schlitz.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
It's got a departure. So
I pounded a couple of Budweisers on the way home myself. It was such a hot day, and they got to be ice cold though. They can't be getting warm. You drink them cold, and it's okay.
Yeah, a beer like this, if it warms, they actually develop some additional flavor.
Well, that's a black and tan. Am I reading it right at the bottom?
It's a Schwarzbier style black lager.
A black lager. Okay, I get it. Okay. Yeah.
Now I do have a question. Is like, I didn't ask this earlier, being a contract brew. Now, when it starts to warm up, does it come like a traditional adjunct?
No,
lager. No, it does not. Okay.
It just gains a little bit more additional flavor. You taste the hops more, the citrusy, honey notes. You taste a little bit more of the hop bitterness. That's which the way it is with a lot of ales. The ones you drink at 55 degrees.
Oh, okay.
That's when they see their maximum amount of flavor. What you mentioned about these 40 degrees, a little bit under for these adjunct lagers, where they're crisp, clean, and cold, but they're not ice cold. If you drink them too ice cold, it will numb the palate. And I done that last year. I drank beers too cold. I'm a regular, pretty much of a novice. I've only been drinking about 14 months.
What? You've been drinking for 14 months?
Because for many years I didn't drink any alcohol. I'm a real avid motorcycle rider, and I just never saw the two as being compatible.
Yes, sir. From a safety standpoint, I totally understand that.
Okay. No, I can do that.
I keep them two completely separate. You know,
that's why I don't ride motorcycles now. I used to love bikes, and that's why I don't ride anymore, because the more I drink, the more I want to ride, and the less I'm able to ride. And so I gave up on the motorcycle, and so I just keep drinking.
That's one of those things. It's better the two never shall meet, because that's the reason I wouldn't even touch alcohol, because I was disciplined enough. I said these are two, completely polar opposites. And the way I treat it now is I only drink after I put the bike away for the day or the night.
No, that's totally understandable.
Because
maybe to have one or two, not enough to where it really distorts you, but just enough to where you're having a good time. But I find it hard to have one or two, So just to have a couple to relax is one thing, but it's easy to stop at every bar on the way home and have one or two, and then by the time you make it home, or if you make it home,
But, last spring, in spring of 2016, there was a local radio station where I live. They had a Saturday event at a craft brewery, and they were having a drawing, and the grand prize was a brand new Harley Davidson.
Oh hell!
I really didn't want a Harley Davidson. I probably would have sold it and bought something else. But anyway, I knew two of the DJs at the radio station pretty well, so that's the reason I went to the event at a craft brewery, and they're giving out samples. And someone came up to me and said, "In these little 2-ounce cups the type of cups you put chicken nugget sauce in."
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And I took it and drank it, and I said, "No, darn, that's pretty good. That tastes pretty good." And I sampled all 5 of them. They're core brands. And when I went home that night, I said, I really did enjoy that. I actually enjoyed the flavor of it. And I went out the next day and bought a beer, and I've drank beer for about 400 and some days in a row since then. I've had at least one.
You got it numbered. Oh my god! I can't count the amounts of. I probably bought 430 packs in my life. Oh my god!
And it was craft beer that brought me into this.
Yeah, no, that's great.
But once I started drinking, I wanted to try some of these older brands because the more I read was, with all the mergers and acquisitions over the years, you never know when these beers will be coming. They come and go. I wanted to try before I couldn't get them on the shelf anymore. So that's why
I would have never guessed that. The knowledge that you have in beer, I would have never guessed that you just started drinking.
But,
I swear.
You'd be surprised. Like some of us have been in the game for a short period of time, has extensive knowledge. We just don't talk about it.
Well, see, I think I'm just the opposite. I don't have any knowledge at all, although I've drank a slew of beer. And y'all are doing the reviews of all these fancy beers, and I'd never even heard of them. I've never really had interest in chasing them down. I don't know. Maybe I need to get into it or something. But no, I do the homebrew thing, and when I don't have homebrew, just like Sierra Nevada or Samuel Adams, and some people chuckle when I say that, but those are good beers. There's nothing wrong with those. They're all right.
I like the Sam Adams, the regular lager.
Yeah.
I like it much better than the seasonal ones. Sometimes I'll drink a seasonal and say it's okay, but I'd really rather just have their flagship beer.
Well, that's just palate, you know?
Yeah.
Now a homebrew, that's a completely different animal than drinking regular brew. And I learned that when I first started homebrewing about 3 months ago. I learned that the hard way. It's a completely different animal. Now, when I got, this is just me personally, when I started drinking craft brew 20 years ago, you got to understand something, and this is statute of limitations, so understand this. I was 17 when I first got into the game.
Yeah.
So it's one of those ones where I knew back then, I understood what it was, and I got out of it for a long time. Then I jumped back into it about 12 years ago.
Right.
And I've been back in it ever since.
Yeah.
So I understand the taste. I understand those Marco brews, or whatever the Smeg you call it right now.
Yeah.
The Buds, the Millers, the Heinekens, whatever you want to call it. I understand those.
Yeah.
The macros, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, the micros, I always been drawn to them only because I can sit down, talk to the owner, talk to the brewmaster, and they'll tell me a story. And that's what most interests me.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe I'm an outlier and all that. I might be a big outlier and all that. But like a lot of local guys here I know, I can sit down and talk to them. I ask them about a beer. They'll tell me the entire backstory part of it. And I immediately I understand where they're coming from as far as that brew. So I can break it down specifically how it should be. Even though I never done reviews.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I was the avid adjunct lager guy. Yeah, I drank, like I said, a bunch of Busch, and every now and then I would splurge with like a craft type beer. But after I started homebrewing, it's like, well, why did I ever drink that stuff? You know, and then so my palate changed, I guess, and so I can still drink. Like I said, I had a couple of Budweisers a while ago, and it's okay. There's a time and place for that. It's not something to show off to your buddies, but it's something that a lot of folks drink, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's all right.
That seems like I'm drinking Natty Ice right now, but it's like,
see, yeah, I can't do any kind of ice or light. It's got to be the full version, or you know, it seems like it's just. I mean, it's watered down already pretty much, and then they do the ice version or the light version. I know they sell more Bud Light than they do anything else, and how they've trained the American people or anybody to be able to consume that day after day is like, there's just no flavor to it.
I don't know. I'm drinking this cheap, all right? Cut me some slack.
No, cheap is good. Cheap is good. Hams is all right. I dig some hams, you know? I dig on some hams, and nothing wrong with that. It's crazy that they're not getting, they don't have more attention than what they do. It's super inexpensive, and it's not terrible beer. It's not bad beer.
They've made the decision to widen their distribution. I found it here in North Carolina. I never thought I would see hams again.
Yeah.
I went to the supermarket about a month ago, and there was a 24-pack of hams. I just had to do a double take because I never thought I'd see that here again. But they're trying to, they think there's a market for this bottom shelf beer. And at the price point, it's a real great bang for the buck.
Oh yeah,
and the beer it's no worse than Busch. It's no. I mean, I drink Busch.
I think it's better than Busch.
I do too. Right, especially for the price point.
It's a little bit more flavor because the ABV is higher.
Oh, is that it? Okay, yeah.
I think Busch is almost like a Bud Light. If you look at this, they're about 4 calories difference and like 1/10 of ABV percent.
Oh, wow.
So the Busch is just, and it's like, then Rolling Rock is slightly above that.
Yeah, Rolling Rock's not a bad beer. That's an okay beer. It's gotta be cold, but yeah, Rolling Rock is good beer.
Yeah, these are all what we call lawnmower beers, fishing beer.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I got a big lawn, so I drink a lot of beer.
Yeah, Rolling Rock. I still gotta be in the mood to drink that one though. I got so be in the mood to drink Rolling Rock.
Yeah, I like some Mickey's myself. That's different style entirely. But
have you ever had the Mickey's Ice?
I have not.
Yes, I have.
I like Mickey's Ice.
All right. Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I had it at a party, and it's definitely interesting. A lot of body to that one, but it's like you're not going to drink it every single day. That's more of a party beer, at least in my eyes.
Here's Mickey's Ice.
Oh, there it is. I'll be down. All right. Huh. And a 32. Woohoo! Right? Can't beat that with a stick.
I actually like this better than the regular Mickey's.
Oh, no kidding.
Okay, I'll have to give it a sample. I'll have to see if I can find it. Yeah, shoot, I drink some malt liquor. What's that one? Hurricanes. You just got to chug it down. It was like an 8.1 or whatever. You just got to get it in your body and forget about it.
The funny thing about Hurricane, it got a very great review on the Beer Advocate. And they use the Nathan style beers, but even the bros liked it.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you headache. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, you just have one. You have one great big bottle and then be done with it. You don't sit and drink those all night.
No, that's
if you could.
You'll get the tap on the shoulder. They say you've gone too far.
Exactly, right?
Exactly.
You mentioned about the ice beers. Some people just don't like ice beers because they have a certain flavor characteristic in them.
And that's totally understandable. I understand that, you know? Like someone like me is like, I don't want to drink a craft beer right now. I drink it because it's cheap. And I don't like light beers or like the Colt 45s or the Slits or anything like that. I want something like this. It's like borderline.
Yeah. In the mid-90s, by that time, malt liquor, the name malt liquor had taken on a negative connotation. People would roll their eyes when you say, so these companies had to say, how can we deliver a higher alcohol beer and not call it a malt liquor? So they therefore devised the ice beer process where they freeze it down, eliminate the ice crystals, and what you're left with is a higher concentrated beer. That's what an ice beer is.
Yeah, it's freeze distillation.
Yeah. So therefore, you could get the same ABVs, but they didn't call it malt liquor. So it was like a little bit more "quote unquote" respectable.
Okay.
So that's what created the ice beer.
Yeah. I think back in the day, as you put it a while ago, is the bros that drank that, you know, and that was.
And if you go to the government website, the tax and trade.
Shit, I'll drink a big old Schlitz, the malt liquor with the blue bull. Hell yeah. They ain't no shame in my game. I'll drink it all.
They got 4 bulls: blue bull, red bull, gold bull, and the other one is the ice, which is silver.
Oh, okay.
So they have 4 versions.
Yeah, I never paid attention to that. Yeah. You know, it's just the Schlitz malt liquor bull. I never really paid attention to the color.
But if you go to the government's website, there's actually regulations, laws about how you brew an ice beer. They have to be very specific about what they do.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
It's considered like a concentrated.
Yeah, me neither.
It's just, but it really is. But they can only go so far with the process.
Right.
When they freeze it down, then filter out the ice crystal. What you're left with is just a stronger version of that same beer.
Exactly. Right. They're taking the water out.
Yeah, they didn't have to call it malt liquor. Where with the malt liquor, you keep adding fermentables. You keep adding more grain to boost the alcohol content in it.
Yeah.
That's why many of these malt liquors have a cloying sweetness, because they have so much grain in them.
Right.
You let a malt liquor warm up, it can be a nasty experience.
Oh yeah. It's another one of those. Yeah, you got to drink them cold.
Yeah, I always say with a malt liquor, it goes in the ditch pretty quickly if you don't drink it fast.
I hear that. Yes, 100% correct with that statement.
But
hell yeah.
Oh snap! So what else is going on around in the beer world?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not sure that's right, Jay. He can tell you everything that you know. Oh well, and next week there's a festival, and you know, he studies really hard on this stuff. He really does.
No, I get the beer news at the very, very beginning. Some Pace magazine. Let me post it again. Hold on. Let's see here.
I'm just chilling on. This is my Amarillo Smash. It's Amarillo hops and Maris Otter grains.
Oh, nice.
This is. It's not quite carbonated, but I've already gotten kind of into it a little bit.
That looks like cider. The color is more of an.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does look like a cider. I don't know if the camera is doing for you or not, but it's not quite ready. It's not still, but it's not quite carbonated. Pardon the very dirty glass. But it's all right. I wish I wouldn't have been such a fool earlier in life and busted my nose. And I'd like to tell a story like well, you should have seen him. But no, I was working out of town, and they had like a bring your own bottle type bar, and so we went down the road to the liquor store, got a bottle, and I got so drunk that night. And we were staying at a motel, like I said, working out of town, and so I come outside, headed to the room, and I slipped off of the curb, and I smashed my nose onto the curb. I felt the blood, you know, and the next morning I seen the trail of blood and figured out what happened and stuff, because I did eventually make it to my room, but but I busted my nose that night pretty damn good, and ever since then, my taste buds just aren't the same. So
Totally
all these
understandable.
guys doing all the reviews and stuff, and like, yeah, one nostril that works sometimes, and then it goes intermittent, and so my taste buds are crap now, and it really sucks. Yeah, I come home and I like knocked down on the door at my own house, and my girl, said something or whatever, and I just peeked into the door, and not enough to where she could see me. I said, "Honey, sit down and wait till you see me." And sure enough, boy, I split it good too. I split like the middle of it here. Both my eyes were blacked. I mean, I had really effed up my nose. It wasn't bad enough that they had to reset it or whatever, but yeah, my sniffer doesn't work quite like it used to anymore.
So you did a face plant.
Yeah, I did. I did it myself. Like I said, I wish it was a better story oh, you should have seen him. We duked it up, but nah, this is all my idiocy. I slipped off the curb and I smashed that curb, boy.
Well, you had a story where you dove in traffic and saved someone pedestrian and you fell.
There's got to be a better story than I was really, really, really drunk.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it looked like a murder scene. The next morning, I seen that I'd stopped at like the drinking fountain, and it tried to clean up a little bit, and I trailed to the room, and then I seen it going out to the curb, and then I realized what happened. Oh yeah, I remember now.
And I'm sure as our senses change over the years, our sensory perception, and it affects, the way we taste food, the palate changes over time. I know people say that. They say, well, maybe this beer has changed. Well, maybe it hasn't changed. Maybe you've changed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. Yeah, I hear that a lot.
I think that probably 50% of the time or more, it's the person's palate has changed. Because I can drink the same beer at a few degrees difference in temperature, and it tastes totally different. The same beer. Beer is very volatile.
You have a good you have good sensory perception. Then you're very good at that.
It changed. It's very volatile. I've noticed that. I've learned last summer when I was drinking, it was very tempting to drink them ice cold because on a 90-degree day, if you've been out mowing the lawn, you want to come in, you want some refreshment.
Yeah.
But you can take it to a certain level as far as the coldness, but if you go above that, you're really just, you might as well be drinking water.
Yeah. You just kind of ruined all the flavors out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stouts are a lot that way. You let a stout warm up. Now, I don't know the temperature or whatever, but you let a stout warm up and it becomes a whole different critter.
It is. Around 50 to 55 degrees for a lot of these.
Yeah.
Perfectly, just barely chilled. And you'll get the maximum amount of flavor.
Yeah, they're amazing. I mean, like I said, my nose isn't the best, but I can still smell. But yeah, it's just like I like to do stouts, and sometimes I'll actually add coffee in there. Oh yeah, they're chocolate. They're stout. They're chocolate. They're very grainy, very rich, and it's almost got a viscosity to it. When you stir it around.
That's a good word.
It's actually a little thickness.
It is.
Yeah,
that's what the mouthfeel is all about. A lot of times what I'll do is if I pour a beer out, I'll pour most of it out in the main glass. Then I'll take a second little glass and pour some remaining and won't touch it till I finish the other one. By the time I get around that small glass, it's really flavorful. That's what
right.
Most.
Yeah, because it's a smaller amount, so it warms up sooner, and then it becomes a whole different thing.
But that was one of the lessons I learned very early on was that I was drinking beers too cold. And once I did that, they developed a lot of even some of these adjunct lagers. You begin to detect some differences if you drink them at a lower temperature. They're subtle. Yeah, they're all pretty much.
Yeah, there's a fine line with the adjunct guys, though. You let them get too warm, and then you went from it's okay to if there's a beer that I could if there was a beer I could drink warm, it would be Busch. But that's all I ever drank. We'd buy that stuff. We'd buy them by the 30 packs, and three people and polish it off in a night, We just hammered those things down. And if there's one I could drink warmer as for the adjunct lagers, it'd probably be Busch. I don't know.
I know the first Coors I drank, as it warmed up, I began to detect a little bit of banana flavor in it.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious, so I went to the website, and sure enough, it mentioned it. That's part of the flavor profile. So I knew then that my palate was starting to get more developed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
And they do have a few little characteristics, you know, as they do warm a little bit, like if you don't let it go.
Well, as a home brewer, that means you got your temperature wrong if you're getting a banana flavor in there, because it deals with okay, I'm not smart enough to tell you. I don't know. I've heard people say it deals with the chemistry part of it. I don't know. I don't get it exactly, but yeah, that means it didn't. The yeast weren't taken care of properly. They were stressed or something, and they didn't get rid of that flavor, and they should.
Yeah, I started reading about the off flavors like the DMS, the diacetyl.
Diacetyl something, yeah.
And I can start to pick those things up. And like in light beers, the light beers do have that green apple skin, almost a sourness. Even a Bud Light, you can pick it up.
Yeah. You can. It's hard to hide something in a beer like that.
It is. Because the fermentation process is so short on these light beers that it's hard to avoid some type of a flaw. Plus, there's no flavor to hide the flaw.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Whereas a stout, you could use your water out of your garden hose. I know. And, so you could spit in there and nobody would know it. Not that I do. I'm just saying. I was doing some bottling the other day and it made it down to the bottom, and I was like, what the hell? I looked in there. There's a damn pine needle. A pine needle had fell into the brew kettle, I guess.
Not a piney nut. You got a pine nut.
Yeah, right. I'm just like hops, I'm getting that piney flavor. There was like a pine needle in there. Like, how'd that even happen?
Oh, snap. Hey, listen, guys. I know it's been fun, but I got to get off here. I got to go to work the bar in the morning.
No way.
Okay.
Yeah, like one of those ones where it's like I gotta get up in the morning, so it's like I gotta be there at like 9 in the morning. But the flip side is I haven't been to bed since like 8 o'clock yesterday morning.
Oh hell!
Wow. Yeah, I haven't been asleep yet.
Dead man walking.
That's right. He's going on alcohol and adrenaline.
I'm starting to fade, so I gotta get some sleep.
That's all good. No, that's all good. It's been nice chatting with y'all. We'll do it again next time. I meant to get in earlier. Like I seen the post, but I was on the way home, and I couldn't chat it up with you so much, and I had to get a little quick shower or something, rinse off.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. It's like for the people who couldn't attend right now, I apologize. I wish I could do it earlier, but 7 p.m. on Fridays is the easiest I can do it for everybody.
No, now, that works.
Now, for the ones that expected my show, I'll say the flip side. I didn't know I was going to do this show this week until like 15 minutes before. So I'm a mixed bag. I totally apologize for that.
Oh, no, you've done fine. You've done fine. Go get some rest.
No. Thank you. Now, excuse me. Now I'm going to sign off for Average Joe out of Buffalo, Ronald Thoreau. Let's see who else was on here. The Trolls. For William out of North Carolina, and the Drunken One. I'm Lance the Lush. Thank you for watching, and always be careful, and remember, get a root.
Salute.
Everybody have a nice weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You too, buddy. Y'all take care.
Working for the weekend.
You too.
Working for the weekend.
I know, that's right.